We took the L again.
0 for 3.
Oh, you're 0 for 3.
I have not won yet. I have not tasted sweet victory.
Emily's the cooler.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so you was Caps team the first year, so you were on that team, and then the last 2 with Mace. Do we have?
We've got to figure it out. Emily's the cooler.
Reason we have? I don't think we. I'm 3-0, baby.
Are you?
It's
Funches is the good luck charm.
Funch.
He's the good luck charm. How does it feel to be a champ on a Monday morning, Slee?
By the way, Funches is here filling in some more here, by the way.
We'll get to Funches. Don't worry about him. We'll get to him.
Yeah. Feels good. You know what I mean? Like when you spend that much time caring about something.
You're right.
That much mental
Well, you
energy.
put your heart and soul, every waking moment for the last 364 days, getting ready for the next one.
It affected my bank account.
Sure.
It affected my mental health.
I know what it did
affected
affect.
my athletic health.
Affected your hands.
What?
Did you see that?
You showed me in the middle of the game.
Rip it
You come up to me and goes, Trav, look at this. And you hold your hands up and you've torn the pads off of 2 of your fingers. I'm like, what did you do to yourself?
The night before, and I think I mentioned this, Friday we're doing our show from home.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't actually see each other. But Cap had sent me a text on Thursday night. They were in Pasadena. I think Legends Baseball. I think that's what the place is called.
Legends Attic in Claremont?
Yeah, I was going to say, did I just create a new company? But
It's not just a memorabilia store, it's a museum, Slee.
all right, now I got to make
And
sure.
an art gallery.
I get it
A lot
right
going
here.
on at Legends Attic.
So I end
Laurel,
up.
Daryl, Mike, and Eddie.
Legends Baseball
Christian.
Academy. Yes, Legends Baseball Academy.
Yeah,
Yes,
you got it right.
Right.
Yes.
Legends Baseball
Good.
Academy. All I did was take. I probably took
500.
no. Let's say I took 40 swings, 50 swings, something like that. Okay. And Beto's just pitching, and we're kind of recycling. Funches is there, Berg is there, Cap is there, DeAndre's there, and we're going through in Beto. And I'm taking, I'm just doing whatever. I'm just taking my. Towards the end, I'm like. But I just kept going. I just kept swinging away at the batting cage. I eventually look at my hands when I'm done, and on my right hand just kind of
Where your index finger meets
well,
your palm.
It's just completely ripped. On my left side, it's completely ripped as well. I'm like, what the hell do I do here?
You're like Andy Bernard in The Office when he took a bunch of swings before he went on that golf outing and tore up his hands.
No, I demolished my hands, but
Trying to drink his beer with his forearms at the end of the night.
trying to shower with barely trying to
So-
all finger.
Yeah,
I was
trying to
Batting
wash
gloves
yourself
is
without
best
using
for
your
that.
hands, right?
batting gloves would have been a good idea. That was fun. That was really fun on Friday.
It's always fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.
You had your
Good
boy
weather.
from Rotolo.
Armando Rojo.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He
that
hit
guy.
it over the stadium.
If you didn't listen, we live streamed it, but it's obviously now sitting on YouTube.
By the way, did you see
wanna
some of the numbers?
Somebody hit a couple.
Numbers were big.
Jacks.
Really?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Like almost 900 people were streaming that game at one
Oh,
point.
that's awesome.
Isn't that incredible?
Really? Wow.
Yes. Yes. It's
And
amazing.
shout out to the COT and the Mafia for showing up and being
100%.
there and supporting the
Absolutely.
game for sure.
Yeah.
But so it was in between Armando and the dental fund zone
The
guy.
dental fund zone
Dante.
guy, I'm pretty sure that
Dante.
was Ichiro in a mask. Because that guy could run.
Yep.
He was hitting tanks.
Yep.
Like it
That was Mario's twin.
That guy
Was
was
he Doogie Howser? Because he looked like he was 12 years old, but
he
is
was
a
so
doctor.
good.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dante.
Dentist.
Dante was his name. So,
Dante.
So I'm sitting there, and we had already put the lineup together, so I couldn't have done anything at this point. But Mario's like, hey, this dude right here, yeah, he's really, really good. Listen, I don't know, right? We had 2 listeners. We had Dante's there as well. And like you guys had Armando, but we saw Armando play a year ago, so we
Yeah.
knew Armando was a baller. But
Yeah.
you guys had some listeners.
And Christian Alizade, who was our second baseman, was from Legends Attic. He was pretty good too.
Okay, so we're trying to figure this out on the fly. And Dante's first at bat, I'm like, what the hell was that? He was a southpaw, or not southpaw, but he was a lefty.
Yep.
And just the smoothest swing, and he hits it 436 feet.
I was playing first base, and when he hit that ball, and it didn't come anywhere near me, but it went over my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. The next time this guy comes up, I'm going to be playing right field. I'm not getting, because if he just gets a little bit on the middle of that baseball or the softball instead of underneath it a hair,
Coming hot.
It's coming in hot,
Yeah.
and I'm out of here. I should have won MVP for one very specific reason on Friday night.
What happened?
I got no hits and I made no plays, but here's why.
I was awful with a bat.
I took one inning off of the field, and Manny Pavetta, one of the market consultants over here, played first base that inning.
He dug one on me.
That inning, he had a rocket hit at him that he dove for and like kind of fell and trying to get it.
Yeah.
He did a stretch to try to dig a ball out of the dirt where he ended up on the ground again.
Okay,
and then had to
stop?
run to field a ground ball. I picked the exact right inning to not be anywhere near any of that action. MVP for Travis.
You're your own MVP.
Exactly right. Guess what happened at the end of the night? I walked to my truck in one piece.
I don't
Success.
know if you can win MVP with your stat line and losing 11-5. Let's
I
put that to the
disagree.
side for a
I'm
minute.
like Jerry
Let's
West.
put that. But listen, the Manny stretch that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm running to first.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, and I look to my left and I'm like, what the hell was that? Did Manny just do the splits? Like that's
Just
the
about.
last guy that I thought was doing it, but
No, Manny was giving high effort, which is always a bad idea. Never try. In the words of Homer Simpson, never try.
Learned that the first year.
Absolutely.
So you went Sunset Room?
I did.
Yeah, you
Okay.
walked to your truck and then you drove to the Sunset Room.
I walked to my truck. I drove to the Sunset Room.
Everyone was healthy, by the way. I don't think anybody.
Yeah,
got
I think we got
which
out of there in
was
pretty good
the
place.
most successful
Well,
thing. I
that
think we
Mace
could have
did
ever
not
had.
put himself in the field certainly helped. Because that took the leader in the clubhouse off the board.
And Momo let me use her cleats, which helped me stay upright at least.
That helped.
I was doing that dizzy bat. That was difficult.
So
I hated that.
You did a good job with that. So you see it like in minor league games where they have somebody spin around the bat and then run to first or third base, right? And your equilibrium's all off, so you usually kind of take like a serpentine route to get there. Jorge was doing it. He was supposed to run to third. He starts running to third, and the next thing you know, he's headed towards second. It was like he just started to peel off. It was phenomenal.
He nearly lost it for his team, but did end up getting it. But yes, Sunset Room.
Yeah, I cut you
That
off.
was the closest moment we had to an injury because I forget it was Christian on our team. I forget who the anchor was on your team,
It was
Slee.
Jorge.
Oh, so it was Jorge. That's right. They nearly collided at home plate coming in.
Yeah.
That would have been like a 10-car pileup on
And
the
Christian
405.
from Legends Attic, right?
Yes, that was good. Buenos dias, Funch.
Yo.
Good to see you.
You too, man.
Yeah. Jorge is out today. Funchy pinch hitting.
Got the call in the morning,
Yeah.
early in the morning.
Did you have a good time on Friday?
I did. I didn't go to Sunset Room, though. I
What?
kind of regret not going.
So how is it that me and Travis are the two Sunset Room attendees, and we have half
That-
the team?
yeah,
We're
that
the
was-
losers.
I had already and I if you remember our walk to your truck, so I was helping you. John Ferris got you a couple items.
I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Yep, and I had mentioned to you, I said, Trav, I went last year, and you kind of gave me this like, I think you're good then. No, you went last year.
Okay, here's my question for you. How long did you stay last year at the Sunset Room?
I stayed at least an hour.
Okay.
At least an hour.
You
Maybe an
left
hour and a half.
In like a blink of an eye, it felt like.
What are you
Trav.
talking about?
I turned around and
You
poof.
have no idea when I left.
Did you have a beverage at least there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You
Can
drink
I
faster.
throw out a number?
You can throw it out. I may not confirm or deny it, but
right,
I
let
did.
me- let me-
I was
let me
there.
shift
I
my
said hello to
attention.
Emily. I saw you weren't there.
You made
I
your
was not
presence.
there.
You made your presence known.
Yes.
Let me shift my attention to Emily. Was he there for more than 15 minutes?
Can't be. I mean, it might be at 15 minutes. I think I was there for an hour.
Okay.
You were there longer than I was.
I was there longer than you were.
Trav also didn't fight. Oh, that's BS. I was there for well over 15. So I think we're in the 10 to 15 minute range.
But he
I
put
went.
in-
I had a drink. I got to hang out with some people. I hung out with
Done.
Jason a little bit. Hung out with Berg. Got to say hello
remembered
to
some
Chris
names.
and Steffa. Hung out with the COT. Hung out with Cappy. Mace and I had a nice moment where we connected and just kind of chatted for
Irish
a few
goodbye.
minutes.
Irish goodbye.
Of course, an Irish goodbye, Funch. Of course.
very quick.
So, all right.
I like it.
I
like it.
all of a sudden I'm driving back and the car the Silverado drive has Apple CarPlay, right? So all of a sudden I see Andy Kamenetsky's name pop up on the screen and I tap it and it goes, "Did you already Irish goodbye this thing?"
That's awesome.
And I said, "Andy, not only I'm halfway home and I live an hour away." So it was
You
good,
made
but
your
I had a good
appearance.
time.
No,
It
you
was
did your
good.
job.
I had a
You
good
made your
time.
appearance.
I
Yeah, it was
did
fun.
too.
It was a good time, and it was with Michael and Pepe doing the live play-by-play
Yeah.
with Morales.
It was
It's
terrific.
obviously Always,
It was a great
always,
time. If
comedic.
If you did come out, thank you very, very much for spending your Friday night with us. If you were one of the people watching it on YouTube, thank you for doing that as well. If you didn't come, carve out a Friday next summer. Carve out a Friday next summer. I can almost guarantee you're going to have a good time. It's a fun night. There's a lot going on. You can have some cold drinks. There's food to eat.
You can also bring your own drinks.
You can bring your own. There's just, it's a really nice, and by the way, we got a little lucky. It wasn't that hot. It was warm, but it wasn't hot. It was in the 80s.
Really lucky.
A little cloudy, just a little bit of cover that we had. It was great.
If you aren't in the communities, you should join them for sure.
For sure.
The Travis and Sliwa show and the COT and the Mason Mafia, but like they look like they were having a
They had a ball.
Because they played before us. They played their version of their All-Star game. I didn't happen to catch most of that, but then they
none of them
had a
drank.
blast.
No, they're a very straight and narrow group.
No.
You mentioned it, Slee. You helped me carry something to my truck on Friday night, and I'm not going to get into too many of the details. Other than Juan Ferris was this year.
Yep.
Who is a longtime listener of the Trav and Slee show, of this entire station, and touchingly, he has listened to me for quite some time, and going back many shows. I've been on just about every show there is on this radio station at one point or another, and John and I have crossed paths a million times. He gave me a gift that is 2 framed LA Times from the 1960s. One when Sandy Koufax threw his perfect game. Another the day after Johnny Roseboro got clocked over the head with a bat from Juan Marichal of the Giants.
That probably wasn't good.
Your 2 favorite things is just like random stuff.
But
like iconic still, and then iconic moments.
A legendary Dodger pitcher, and they were beautifully framed. And John, they mean the world to me. We had a nice conversation on Friday night, and like I said, I'm not going to get too emotional because it will hit me in the spot. But thank you very, very much, Al. I know you and I got a chance to look at them when we were putting them in the truck at the end of the night. But just, John, it means the world to me that you decided that you wanted me to have those, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
He told a story, so you obviously know Casper Villa, Crypto Ray.
Sure.
They do a podcast together, and John Ferris was on the podcast. I mentioned this to you on Friday. So they do their pod, 2 dudes, 1 up. John tells a story on the podcast where, one of the reasons he was so excited, he recorded actually the Travis and Sliwa show, our first show together, and you see him in the car, and Morales is doing the open for the show. It's at nighttime at this, 7 p to 9 p.
That's right,
like that, whenever it was. And he was so excited that we were doing a show together, because he's a big fan of yours. So he was just excited that you got a platform again. It wasn't just the updates. You were doing your show in the past, so you were getting a chance to do it. So he shared a lot of that love on the pod, too. So
Thank you, John. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
And John does wonderful, sentimental things like what he did to you, but he also bought me a drink, and we were twins with our drink, and we both got the Pomegranate Cider at the Sunset Room. Fantastic, and chatted with him for a bit, so that was also really cool. So
how was the pomegranate cider?
Amazing.
Was it good?
The easiest yes for me at a bar is if you have a fruity cider. If you got a fruity cider, I'm saying yes, please, and give me 3.
I don't know what's the ABV on an item like that.
Usually 5, sometimes
so it's like a
5,
beer.
sometimes lower. Yeah, it's about the same as a beer.
Okay. Have you ever had a fruity cider, Slee?
I've not had that.
I haven't had
Pomegranate cider, blueberry cider.
Fruitier or less fruity than, like, say, a White Claw?
As fruity.
Okay.
Again, not for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if I might be the only one that does either just a straight bourbon on the rocks or a margarita. I don't know if those two have ever,
There's a lot of colors of the rainbow, Slee, in between those two things.
There's a lot going on.
You can try a lot. I've had some White Claws here and there. They're okay on a hot day.
Yeah.
They're not my favorite thing, but they're all right.
Yeah. They're my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It's White Claws. It's some sort of seltzer.
Yeah.
And then a fruity cider.
They're not bad.
Are yes for me.
Slee, you and me, fruity ciders Friday night. Let's go do it. Let's go get it done.
I had a couple yesterday when I was trying to watch the Copa at Santa Monica Brewery.
Let's talk about that
next
because what I thought I was watching a tape delayed broadcast, and then I realized that I wasn't. And then when I realized why I was, that was a whole scene. I got a lot of soccer questions. Jorge is not here, so Funchess, you're gonna have to be the soccer expert coming up next. Right. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
N-E-X-G-E-N. Call 833-3NEXT-GEN.
Just as every point matters, every detail counts in our meticulously crafted vehicles. Experience luxury at the top of its game. Welcome to Cadillac of Beverly Hills, the #1 Cadillac dealer in the Western region for the 3rd year in a row. Come and check out the incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles today at our showroom, 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Bronny. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mace. When I was in an accident, my friend Jacob was the first person I called. He should be your first call, too.
Crypto Ray in the Trav and Slee community says, great seeing you at the Sunset Room, Trav. Next time you dance, baby steps. I'm a wedding dancer, Al. That's basically the only place that I'm really going to kind of cut it loose a little bit. I don't know if I'm ready for a post All-Star Friday night dancing like old Birdman in there. Greg is the dancer in the group, not me.
Was Friday?
He was not dancing when I was there, no.
No.
But that doesn't mean it didn't happen later. I was not there the entire night. Maybe,
I could
perhaps.
have seen
I didn't see
a
dancing either.
spotlight like following him
The
wherever
lights
he
go
goes,
out.
just waiting.
The spot comes on.
Just a spotlight of just waiting for him. Whenever he's ready to start dancing.
It was.
have it.
It was good. It was good. Greg brought me a drink. Everything about it was a success. Yeah, it didn't have to go into my own pocket. Everything about it was just. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah, there was definitely no. Like the moment I got there, first thing, one of the first people I see is Jorge. He's like, Modelo? I'm like,
Sure. Why not?
cracks it open. And Chris is like, drink? Sure.
See, I know nobody offered me. I just had to go into my own cooler. Now it was packed. I did have a couple people show me their
He
coolers.
gave me a water. Thank you for
I
that.
offered you a drink.
Did you?
Yes.
When?
When I arrived, I was like, oh, I also have some mango carts if you want some.
I must have not heard that. But thank you.
Come on,
Retroactively, thank you, Emily, for
Emily's
doing
just
that.
trying to take advantage. She's like, you know what? I'm just going to say I offered him a drink. too.
I felt the peer pressure, which I think is good peer pressure, to have a very nice cooler for the.
I bet
All-Star
your mango
Friday night.
carts were nice and cold.
They were nice and cold, so I had a layer of ice, and then I put my a couple mango carts and a water.
Yep.
And I put some more ice, and then some more mango carts
Perfect.
and some more waters, and then some ice on top of that.
Perfect.
I have a semi. I'll give you some credit for this. And stop. We're done with this. Whatever credit we give Trav, we're done for the week because I feel like that's already too much. Saturday I was down in San Diego. I had a buddy of mine who was flying in, and we were going to hang out all day on Saturday, and we're going to predominantly just be coastal on Saturday. So I went and got, it's not a good cooler. It's one of those just, you take it down at the beach, something like that, but it's, it folds up. Costco's got those that you're just able to take. Maybe you can fit maybe 15 beers in it, something like that, at the most. So I went early in the morning, let's say around 10 a.m. I stock good local beer in San Diego. I put it all together, get one bag of ice, put it. So now there's a pretty good coating on there, and I look at it, I'm like, now Trav would probably say you need one more bag of ice. So I go up to the liquor store, grab one more bag of ice, load it back in there. Now I can't even see any of the beers.
Perfect.
Everything is just completely covered. Him
Perfect.
and I aren't drinking until 2.
Okay.
'Cause I got
What time is
other
that? What
stuff
time did
that
that second bag of ice go on?
It was on by 11 a.m.
Perfect.
at the latest. okay?
Perfect.
So by the time I had to go do some stuff, go pick him up from the airport. We come back. He looks into the corner. He's like, I can't even see the beers. They were just as ice cold as could be. Still had beers later that night,
Yeah.
7, 8
Probably
p.m.
still cold.
Perfect.
Yeah, of course they were.
Yeah.
Look
Too
at
much ice.
This is
Too much ice.
This is
That's
how you do
That's
it.
the great. That's
You-
the key. It's you had too much ice.
Yeah, and until you
How
have
much
the
better is
perfect
too
amount
much
of ice.
than
Yeah.
too little of ice.
No, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So I went and played golf yesterday afternoon, and I left at the end of the first half of the Euros. Okay, so of course it was scoreless. Well, yeah, I didn't miss anything. And so then I come back, I see, 2-1, he
Good
missed 3
second
goals.
half. M knows.
Apparently.
That was a good
Yeah.
second half.
I get home thinking that, I'm going to have missed Copa or at least most of it because I knew when it was starting and I knew when I got home, so I might have been able to catch the tail end of it. Turn on the TV, and it's the Fox crew, like Rob Stone and his panel of
Freaking
people.
Alexi Lawless.
Carly Lloyd,
Ugh.
and Clint Dempsey, maybe? I think that's
Sure.
who it is. And I'm like, are they just running it back? Like, is this, are they just, like, it's over, so they're going to rebroadcast it? Like, kickoff in 48 minutes. I'm like, there's no way. That was so crazy
it's
why
bizarre.
that game got delayed. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on this week, obviously.
Yep.
But people climbing fences into air conditioning ducts, climbing up and over concession things. Like it looked like a zombie movie almost, where
Yeah.
people were just going in and out of everywhere. And look, we got the World Cup coming up here before too long. We got the Olympics coming up in about 4 years. That maybe for these larger events, we do a little bit better. The security, I could not believe how scary that was.
So that's happened before. I don't think it was in the States. I know there was
It's not. It's also not like exactly the same thing that happened. This was just that people were getting like let in without tickets.
Well, because there was about to be a stampede.
Yeah.
And if you didn't let those gates open, people were going to get crushed.
In situations like that, you're literally better off just saying, open the freaking gates so nobody gets hurt.
Right.
Yeah, it was odd. And by the time they started, it was at least probably an hour and a half delay before it actually
Yeah,
started.
it was 9:22 on the East Coast when they kicked off the ball. That's insane how late that started. And you know, going through the aisles and getting people out who didn't have tickets, they were going row by row, the security,
Jeez.
checking people's tickets. And it just clearly shows that we're not ready for the World Cup at this point in time. Like, the field was gross and terrible and caused injury, and also the idea that the security was terrible.
Well, and it was also Colombia, Argentina in Miami.
But
Yeah.
also, that might be happening when we have
be.
someone
Could
come
be.
this,
Yeah,
in the
you're
World
right.
Cup. You know,
Could be.
we don't control necessarily who's going to be in the knockout stages later on. But it's something, one, that you should have anticipated, and two, that they just didn't prepare for.
You don't think that might happen if it's USA Turkey?
Who knows? Who knows? It can't be one of those things
I know,
that
I
you
know.
don't
You
have.
gotta
You're
be
not
prepared
prepared
for it.
for
You gotta be prepared.
exactly.
Yep.
And look, I don't know anything about soccer. Full disclaimer. I don't think everybody thought that I do. Was that game as bad as I felt like it was?
Oh,
that felt.
gosh.
It
Yeah, it was
was
boring.
that was boring.
It was very boring.
It's 2 hours of nothing.
Very little shots on goal. I think at half there was probably 9 shots on goal, which is low for
And
soccer.
nothing that really felt like they had a great chance.
Yeah, exactly. Even when Messi was there.
In overtime, the broadcasters were saying, they're like, yeah, we know this isn't very appealing, but it's strategic. They're taking fouls as often as they could just to stop any breaks. It wasn't exciting at
very
all.
chippy. It was also like they had all been dunked in water because
Yeah,
they were
pretty
really
sweat. Well, it's
wet.
Miami
They
in
were dead.
July.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami in July. Messi tore his foot off when they showed his foot with his shoe off, his cleat
Yeah.
off. It was awful. Is that what you look like when you rolled your ankle, Emily?
Honestly, when I saw it, it reminded me of my own ankle last year. So clearly, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't believe that his, he's been diagnosed yet, but it looks like a high ankle or broken ankle.
For all of those that, because there's so much of it in soccer where everybody's just dramatic and they're faking injuries. 'cause
Definitely a
that
lot of it in
happens
that game.
all the time. Yeah, Messi's not one of those guys.
Well, in the one that knocked him out of the game, nobody even touched him.
Yeah, and that's why
His
what you
ankle
worry
got
about.
rolled under.
That was on the one up by the boards, right?
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah,
but
that's right, that's right.
he came back and played after that. It was the one in the middle of the field where he was just chasing the ball and he kind of fell, and that was it.
Okay, about that first one. That one did crack me up a little bit because he rolled back into play so they wouldn't have to stop the clock, and that's what he did. So he hurt himself. He went into the wall, and then he rolled himself back onto
He's
the
a
green.
goat. He knows how
so
to
that
do it.
the time can keep going. And I'm just like, that's how you do it. And also that's how you know it's not that serious until the second one. That one was more serious because no one touched him and he was down for a long time. That's kind of how you can tell.
Looked like somebody put a softball where his ankle used to be. That was a bad
You
deal.
know, every time they cut to him and he's, just so emotional. You can obviously tell how much this tournament and playing for Argentina means to him. And, that
could be it.
Yeah, that could be it because there's no guarantee that he is he's going to be back for the World Cup. And Di Maria, his friend that he's played with for a long time, is likely done as well. So it's just it's hard.
Did you watch the Shakira halftime show?
No.
Em, did you?
Oh yeah.
So did I.
How was she?
She's great because she's Shakira, right?
I know
Like
that. I know that. I missed that.
Yeah, but the show was weird. They had like
Somebody else
these.
said that too, but I didn't.
They
see
had
any, I don't know any
these
of the details.
graphics on the screen
That were terrible.
that were really. They felt very dated. They felt there was like this laser beam lion that was barfing diamonds. It was this very bizarre thing where then
it's a she-wolf. Just
okay, a she-wolf barfing rubies. Then I don't know what it was. It just like it was, and there was no people on the pitch.
It's not like at halftime for the Super Bowl.
Not like the Super Bowl, and it was her doing her thing. She
Yeah.
had a handful of backup dancers, and then they were sitting on a park bench doing foot stomps. It was very bizarre.
More importantly, how did she look?
Great.
She
She's
looked great.
Shakira.
She's
Of course
Shakira.
she looked
And
great.
she sounded great because she's
Yeah.
Shakira.
Yeah.
It's more to me, the criticism I have is those graphics looked terrible. Those graphics sucked. And that was not the only production mishap from Fox yesterday because it was in the first half, and you hear a little blip, and then they are a couple seconds delayed on this, and it's not just whomever you're listening to. It's across the board. If you were watching the Fox broadcast, they had gotten a delay on the voices. It was absolutely terrible because they had gotten their own feed got cut, and so they took the world feed, and then we're having their guys call it on the world feed. It was a mess show for sure.
I did like the barfing she-wolf though. That was fun.
That's your favorite part.
Well, it's the only part that I really remember. It's the only thing that happened.
And
The
then
rest
she
of the
did
day,
the-
nothing really happened,
She
Al.
did a little like to the screen like she did for the halftime show.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's Shakira, so I'm not going to be too mad at what was going on out there.
And this is not a Shakira takedown. I think she's
No.
great. I just think the graphics were terrible.
Backup. So as you look at Shakira, Slee, the backup dancer, 2 to the right, she was my favorite. Just saying.
I wonder why.
She had very passionate dancer. She was very enthusiastic in her dance moves along the way. The Dodgers have the All-Star break coming at really the exact right time because they need it desperately. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. We saw our friends from Rotolo Chevrolet, Capozio Buick GMC out at All-Star Friday night, and you got a chance to see it firsthand why they are Dealer of the year after year after year. A dozen years in a row, Dealer of the Year. They take care of people. They have unbelievable vehicles. They have unbelievable pricing. And, of course, that customer service is second to none. So go see for yourself what all the fun is about at Rotolo Chevrolet. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, right off the 210. You can't miss it. All the Silverados, all the Chevy cars and trucks. So they even have that new electric Hummer that's going on out there. And I'm just saying, I've just put a little bug in Eddie's ear. Like, if you ever have one of those that needs to be test driven around, you know where to find me. But if you've been thinking about any of these, get yourself to Rotolo. And if Fontana's a little bit out of your backyard, go online, RotoloChevy.com, ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and make sure you tell them that Travis sent you. person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't know. A fantastic time on Friday night in West Covina. Thank you to everybody that came out to the West Covina Sportsplex to attend All-Star Friday night, and to everyone who watched the live video stream of the game on YouTube. If you missed any of it, you can check it all out on the ESPN Los Angeles on our YouTube channel. And, of course, thank you to all the great fans that participated in the first ever 7-10 listener game. Get ready for next year's rematch. You had the COT against the Mafia All-Stars. I don't know who won.
It's Mafia.
It seemed like the game started to, what's the word I want? Kind of dissolve at some point. I don't know. Like, it was very organized, and then as I was watching it a little bit more towards the end, it felt like it got a little rowdy, a little rambunctious, which I think is what they were going for.
You know what's a little, I think, disrespectful from MLB is they didn't grab our game and put it into those, like, 12 to 15-minute highlights that they usually do.
Oh, yeah, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, those highlight packages, it almost feels like you saw the entire game. You get
and
everything you need.
That's why it'd been nice if somebody did that for us from MLB. What more do you want? By the way,
highlights would just be Armando and Dental Fun Guy
it
just
would
hitting
just
home
be
runs.
the people that don't work at the radio station.
And Beto. Beto had a home run.
Beto was good.
Mario's a baller. Beto is clearly a baller as well.
Jorge
BC
hit one.
hit a home run. Jorge hit a home run.
And Kaplan.
And Cappy hit a home run.
Cappy hit a home run.
Cap got the scoring started.
Yeah. Brian Cohen is basically the greatest defensive third baseman in the history of softball. He made a couple of plays that were that backhand shortstop rocket.
I don't know what that was going on.
I'm like,
And it didn't even faze him. Like,
No.
he wasn't like, yeah.
he
It was
expected to make that play.
Yeah. I don't know what that was
Yeah.
like, maybe the Dodgers could use him.
they could use a lot of help. All right, so here's All-Star game, home run derby tonight, All-Star game tomorrow.
Yep.
This is the week that everybody gets to catch their breath a little bit, and then you come back and it's the sprint to the finish. Dodgers are going to make some moves. I would imagine all the teams near the top are going to make some moves, but the Dodgers, this break came at just about the right time. They lost 2 or 3 to the Tigers. They've lost 8 of their last 10. They have not played good baseball really in a couple of months. They've been okay. I think they're 23 and 25 in their last 48 games.
Right. Yeah, they were 22 and 22 going into that.
Yeah,
or something like that.
They're not firing on all cylinders. And if you need a specific example as to why, I would like to read you the names of the men who pitched in the game yesterday. This was a major league game, a first-place team with a 7-game lead. The team, believe it or not, that has the best odds to win the World Series ran out the following 5 guys yesterday. Honeywell, Yarborough, Peterson, Banda, and Ramirez. Not Glasnow, Yamamoto, Trinan, Phillips, and Otani.
Yeah.
Honeywell, Yarborough, Peterson, Banda, and Ramirez. Those are the 5 guys that pitch. Honeywell is a journeyman who'd been around a long time, who the Dodgers signed basically in the middle of the night on Friday and brought him to start on Sunday. Yarborough is a middle relief guy who's kind of been up and down this season. And Peterson, Banda, and Ramirez were all guys that I do not think expected to pitch in the major leagues this year.
What a weird year. What a really, like, that is one of the things you're not expecting a team like the Dodgers competing for a World Series. Typically, you know all the names, right? Typically, it's like, all right, if they're a team that is hanging with the big boys, you're not going to have that many random people that are a part of your lineup. And this is kind of how they're piecing things together right now. And it's not, it's obviously not strategic. This is just based upon how many arms that they have available. I like what you said in the beginning. With all that being said, last week there were odds of most likely to win a World Series. Dodgers were still on the top of that list. Maybe strategic, maybe not. Maybe they're just betting to go there, but it's not absurd to put the Dodgers obviously there. Still got a 7-game cushion in the division. That probably says something about the division as well. Just the division, Arizona, San Francisco, and the Padres just can't get on any type of streak. But I think the biggest thing to take away is it's okay in July. It's all right. It's all good. The question is just going to be, do you want to be the best team in July, or do you want to be going into your best baseball come mid-September? And I think that is... I know a lot of the Dodgers' success is going to depend on their health.
Yeah.
But I just stop and it's mid-July. Nobody's questioning are they going to make the playoffs. Nobody's questioning are they going to win the division.
Yeah.
It will eventually, I think, figure itself out.
That I think, if there is a silver lining to what they're going through right now, and by the way, if Sunday's pitching lineup included Honeywell, Yarborough, Peterson, Bonda, and Ramirez, Saturday's included Robleski, Bonda, Vanasco, and Ramirez. So it's not like it was just, hey, one day we just threw all our bullpen guys out there. Vezzi had pitched 4 out of 5 days. They've had a bunch of guys that have had to go out there. Ramirez was another one that's pitched a lot. That they're using guys that you would not expect to pitch much, and they're pitching a lot. That being said, the silver lining is they do have a big lead in the division. They are going to win that division. No one is saying, hey, what the hell is the matter with these? Everybody knows what's the matter with these guys. What's the matter is their team isn't healthy. They will be a lot healthier. Fast forward 30 days from now. Fast forward 60 days from now. Go to the middle of September, and none of those guys, maybe with the exception of Yarborough, are going to be pitching very many innings that matter all that much. You're going to have Glasnow, and this is hopeful, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Kershaw, Miller, Stone. You're going to get these guys that were part of the plan that are back in the mix. Mookie Betts will be back. Max Muncy will be back, hopefully. Muncy is a little bit more of a long shot. But this isn't the team isn't very good and they're struggling and they're letting it slip through their fingers. This isn't the team. This is a group of guys wearing Dodger uniforms, but this is not the Dodger team that you're going to have when it actually counts.
With that being said, is there still, I think you could describe it as best as you can. They did lose 8 of 10. They have, like you said, over the course of the last couple of months, they're below 500. What you look at this team right now, is there very little concern? Is there a lot of concern because you need all these people to also come back at the right time, be healthy, and get ready to go for that stretch run?
I think it's on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 or 0 being no concern and 10 being they're dead. It's never going to turn around. It's a 2, because if these guys play, they're dead, but they're not going to play. Mookie's going to come back. Muncy may come back. You're still going to have Ohtani and Freeman and Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez. You're going to have Tyler Glasnow come back. And so he's the one guy that, even though he's down, this feels much more like, you know what, give him a little runway. Just give him a little runway. Give him a couple of weeks, and we'll just kind of slow play this back in here.
Yep.
Yamamoto going to the 60-day DL, maybe more of that. It may be more of a roster thing where you can move some pieces around a little bit. But you're going to have to get him back. He's probably somewhere between no concern and moderate concern. But no, this isn't a matter of, hey, Ohtani's hitting 220 and he's got 6 home runs.
No.
It's not that, hey, Teoscar Hernandez can't get the ball. It's not that. The guys that need to play well they're going to get their guys back, particularly on the mound. They have to, or else they're cooked.
Yeah, I like the kind of the idea. I mean, a 2 out of 10 is so. I get where you're coming from. I think mine would concern with the Dodgers just be, hey, are you going to have, how many of these guys can you depend on?
Yeah.
I feel good that this guy's going to come back. I feel good that Kershaw's going to look decent. That's the part I think needs to all.
It might be in a Dodger fan when I look at like the last several years, they've just gone through the regular. It's been a joke, right? They win virtually every night. They go out there and just bang, swat it aside, win a series, sweep a series, win a series, sweep a series, sweep a series. They're just going through guys easily. That it has been a grind, that they have had to kind of just weather relatively long stretches of mediocre play. Does that serve them any benefit at all come to the postseason? Or are the expectations still going to be sky high and there is no, hey guys, they scuttled for 3 months during the season. Of course they're going to scuttle now.
I think the thing that hurts the Dodgers the most during the regular season, it's everything is taken for granted. You just assume they're going to win the division. How many teams can you just assume are going to win the division before the season starts? You just assume they're going to win close to 100 games. They've created this because of their success. So the struggle that they're in right now, could it be beneficial? Probably. I
wonder. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk myself into it.
July 15th. We're in mid-July. Do I think that, they lost 2 or 3 to the Tigers? That's going to help them. Probably. I don't think that's going to mean anything.
So my question for you: you're being pretty optimistic about the Dodgers, at least right now. So just again, let's continue to be optimistic. So come playoffs, your rotation is going to be
If I did,
Glasnow and Kershaw and Yamamoto maybe coming in. Like, I feel no optimism whatsoever with those rotation, even when they come back healthy.
if what you just described is what they roll into the playoffs with as their pitching rotation, I will not be optimistic. I'm optimistic that it won't be what you just described. If it is, they're in trouble.
So not, I think I said Godson. I meant to say Glasnow, but Glasnow, and then you get a person off the trade.
Al's been saying this all along. You're going to have to get Glasnow and Yamamoto up and running at close to full speed to have a real chance. And you're going to need to make a trade to get a third arm in there. And then you can backfill with the Kershaws and the Stones and whoever. Maybe Bueller figures it out by that point. Maybe Bobby Miller figures it out by that point, that you can backfill a little bit there. Yamamoto's really, I'm not worried about Glasnow at all. I do think they'll make a trade. The Yamamoto part, he's a smaller guy in a new league, being asked to do something that he's never had to do before, and he broke in 2.5 months. That's not a good sign.
We can talk more about Yamamoto, but I'm kind of stuck too on this. So, like, I think I talked about it with Beto when he was on, Beto with Al. But are we counting on Kershaw in the postseason? Are we counting on Kershaw to be a pitcher in the postseason? Because, we have optimism that he's going to come back and then he'll be here. If
he's a gotta have it, you're in trouble. If he's he's around if you need it, then you're in really good space.
Game 4, Game 3.
Great. If he's there and hey, look, we can pitch Kershaw tonight, we're in a pretty good spot, that's awesome. If you're saying, it's Game 2, I'm going to need Clayton Kershaw to throw 6 innings of one-run baseball, that's a problem. He hasn't pitched all year. He's an older guy. He's got a shoulder repaired surgically. It is a big deal. Ask Slee is a big deal, and that's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Bringing the live play-by-play of tonight's Home Run Derby, live from Globe Field, courtesy of ESPN Radio. Coverage begins at 5 after a Cappy and Beto combo plate. And then tomorrow at 5, we'll bring you the play-by-play of the All-Star Game. All the coverage made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit pechanga.com for more information. I know I'm in the minority. I love the All-Star Game. Home Run Derby, it's okay. It's not bad. I love the All-Star Game. I know that's not a popular game to watch. I like it. I like people lining up on the foul line, tipping their caps, waving.
Yeah.
I like all the pomp and circumstance of it.
And at this stage of the year, it's like, that's the only thing we got.
That's it.
But I'm more watching it because there's nothing else.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get that's 90.
Unless obviously, Summer League Vegas, Rockets Magic.
Sure. Paul Skeens against Aaron Judge?
No, I'm in.
You want to see that? Paul
Paul
Skeens?
Sleeves, you might say.
Paul Sleeves, yes, exactly. Against Soto, probably. That's going to be fun. Raider Rubin in the Travis Lee All-Star community. Good to see you on Friday night. Rubin, out of all the big events 710 has thrown the last few years, which is your favorite and most memorable and why?
That's a good question. I think of all of them, I'm gonna go the first Mandy's.
I was going to say the same thing. Why?
I don't think any of us knew what to expect.
Exactly right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the interaction with the listeners, and it was so organic. And I think every host and everybody that was a part of the radio station was like, wow, I had no idea it was going to be
engagement.
like this, like that. Had an engagement.
That's right.
I think the first one, like softball's fun. Obviously, that's a great time.
Pickleball's fun.
Pickleball is fun, but I think the first Mandy's was
I was going to say the exact same thing, and it was pretty wild. Like it was a very, very fun night. What about you, Em?
I really liked the second Mandy's.
Okay.
I do think that I do like how the Mandy's kind of like ramps up in like size each year.
Yeah.
And I do think the Mandy's is most fun, I think, for us as talent, because I'm not very good at softball, so
Neither am I. It doesn't stop me.
Contribute. But yeah, I think the Mandy's as well. And I think again, I want to give a special shout out to our marketing side that
Sure.
just like dreams up these things and has these big ideas. Chris in the marketing side they do so much to get these things out for you
and
guys.
literally all we do is show up like idiots and not have any idea. Like
That's why it's so much fun.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody, Deshay, who's on the marketing side as well. He's like, so what do you think Friday? I'm like, to be honest with you, there's so much details that go into it, and all I do is just show up and throw a couple pitches, and I'm like, hey,
I know.
that was a great event.
I know.
You have to do it.
It's fun. What about you, Funch? Which one do you like the best?
First Mandy's, possibly, because I had the bomb breakfast burrito afterwards.
It's a
Best
good-
breakfast
it's as
burrito.
good a
It was
reason
like
as any.
right there by the right there by where we had the Mandy's.
Right on that main drag there,
Yes,
right?
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I heard a lot of people hit that
Oh,
spot
the
before
bomb
and
burrito.
after.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got, Em?
So I got one from Jason Levine, and this is topical because these prices are going up every single day. But how much is too much to pay for fast food? I'm gonna say
Great
one
question.
meal. One meal for yourself. How much is too much to pay?
I think if per person,
Yeah.
anything over $10. I think that's just a little, just what I'm accustomed to fast food. I use In-N-Out as a great example because In-N-Out is kind of the mecca of fast food. And I could walk out of there spending less than $10. So how do I not then compare all these other places where I don't think the food is as good as them and they're charging me more than that? But I'm not a huge fast food person to begin with, but I would say anything over 10. But if I'm paying $15 for fast food, I feel like that's a lot of money.
I have nothing to add to that. 10 is the number. 10 and less, you get what you get, and if it's good, great. If it's not, you spent less than $10. What do you want, right? More than that, it's like, I could maybe do a little better than this somewhere else for about the same price. I think 10 is you could maybe push it to 12, but I think 10's the number. Em?
I think for me it's
That's a big
15.
spender.
15?
15.
Okay.
I
Like
think
nothing.
nowadays-
She rolls out her dough like this.
If it's less than what I could get at a sit-down restaurant, I think I'm okay with that. And so 15 is probably the minimum. Like Chili's has like the
Yeah.
3 for me, which is like
Right.
$14.
Right.
Whatever. So I
But
think,
you get served.
I know.
You get you
I don't really care about the serving.
you don't
aspect.
that's not a big deal to you.
Okay, speaking of this, okay, I had this experience the other day at McDonald's. I went to get lunch there. They were charging me per bag.
What?
So I ordered it off the McDonald's app, and it popped up for the first time. You have to choose whether you get a bag or not. And so I said 0. I thought this was like a mistake. Okay.
What, do they hand it to you piece by piece?
So I put 0 bags because I thought, okay, of course they're going to put it in a bag, and I just don't need extra bags. They just handed me a McChicken in the wrapping and fries. Just like handed me in my hand, and I had no bag.
They want you to bring reusable.
How much was the bag?
bags?
It was like 10 cents or whatever it would be at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But the principle of the thing, I'm not
I didn't
paying
know
10
that.
cents for
No.
a McDonald's
Yeah, I
bag.
didn't know that.
What the heck? Anyway.
You're not until you're like, I need a bag.
Now I need a bag. I need everything to be
Yeah.
on the front seat of the car in one spot in the bag, so when I reach my hand in, I know where to go.
It's absolute anarchy right now, and I was fired up about it. I think it was like going into our break where you guys weren't here, so I forgot to bring it up. Whew. Yeah, I was
What about you, Funch? What's the number?
M's right. 15's a standard now. It
That
is.
seems high to
It
me.
is with inflation and everything
But
nowadays.
Can I tell you where I'm probably going 15? If I go to a taco shop, I go get Mexican food. Burritos are expensive now. They are. And you get a drink with it as well. I'm 12 or 13, maybe even a little. You add some guacamole, you're 14, 15, something like that. But I know I'm getting, like, it's a specific thing that I'm getting, and I'm not telling you that one's fast food, but I know, like, I could see somebody making it. I know it's different. I feel like I could justify it there, and I can't justify it in the McDonald's or one of those.
You got an Nestle, Funch?
I do not.
Okay, then let me go. Ready? When you saw Messi crying because of the ankle injury, did you hear Trav's impression in your head? That's
God
from
dang it.
Francis
No,
in
I didn't.
Glendale.
I did not. I never even thought of it.
See, here's where...
Wait.
It's the first thing that I thought of.
The whole game yesterday, and we know how many cameras were sitting there on Messi the entire time.
Sure.
Now, I got to be honest, I never thought of it. You
And
know what that
it
means?
popped in your head?
First
It
thing.
means you haven't done it in a while. That's probably what it means.
I can't do it when the man breaks his leg or whatever it
exactly.
is.
No, you don't have to do it now, but I don't think you've done it in a while.
So I'm watching the game last night, and even after he was out of the game, he was on camera more than any of the other players. Being that famous would be awful. It would be like the money, cool. Everything that comes along with it, pretty cool. But not being able for 1 second to have a private moment unless you are locked inside your house would be miserable.
That's what my friends and I, we were having a conversation with regards to Messi. I was like, if you could be the best in the world at any sport, worldwide sport, what would it be? So we talked about, I said it would be golf, tennis, soccer, American football, basketball. And I would say golf by 1,000 because you can be anonymous.
Tiger Woods, if you're that famous.
If you're Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, yeah. If you're
Can't be-
Scotty Scheffler,
Woods
great.
can't.
But if we're talking like the most famous of the famous.
And even the John Daly's.
Yeah, John Daly gets bothered.
I'm talking about best in the world right
now.
If you could be Scotty Scheffler, he can go into
Scotty
any
Scheffler's the right answer.
Yeah, and Scheffler, think of the equivalent of other sports. Find one of the more boring, vanilla.
Yeah.
Like, I think just that personality in general is never going to
I don't think that Carlos Alcaraz is boring or vanilla, but he could probably walk into a bar in LA.
In LA he could, but the rest of the world not so much.
Yeah.
Because tennis in the United States is way down the pecking order.
Yeah.
Flip it. You know who would be probably reasonably comfortable going places outside of the US? Patrick Mahomes. As famous as he is here, like he was at Wimbledon the other day and he was sitting in Gen Pop. He was just kind of there, right? Like if
There
Patrick
was actually a time where he moved up and he had to go back to his seats.
But if he walked through a plaza in Stockholm, nobody's bothering Patrick Mahomes.
One guy might.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying anonymous, but if
Saying
Carlos
a lot less,
Alcaraz
right?
walked through Stockholm, he'd be mobbed.
But yeah, our conversation was basically most amount of money, least amount of downsides of playing
Scotty
that sport
Scheffler.
slash
a good one.
your famous.
That's a good one.
I have one for Slee, and it's from Daniel Taka, and he asks, has Slee ever snuck into a sporting event or concert?
Definitely concert, right?
Well, concert I haven't snuck into, but I've snuck into. I think I've told you this story before, Trav. Remember I told you years ago I went to a Rage Against the Machine concert.
Yeah.
It was at the Coliseum.
Yep.
And I paid for the tickets, but we snuck in to get on the field. and be there for. I think I've mentioned this before. I was ready to go to the Slammer for 30 days if that was
So
necessary.
there was different tiers of tickets.
Different tiers of tickets. Definitely the tickets we had were not supposed to be for on the field, but we got on the field. I've snuck in like that. I have not tried doing what Copa America was showing us yesterday.
You didn't crawl through the air conditioning vents?
Did not.
That was nuts. That was absolutely crazy. Bronny's still playing in the Summer League, Slee.
Yep.
But I have good news.
Okay.
I have good news. I'll tell you what it is next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Next.
That's right. That's right.
Here we
That's
go
right.
again.
How right. That's right. That is right on.
Comes with it already. That's not part of the combo. I feel like we're going to have to do this all over again.
Just got rice. I want him to get
That's
a half
fine.
and half.
Well, that's the part that you can. That's dealer's choice. That's there. That's
Well, my
the
wife just gets a
happy.
chow mein. What's
Chow
that? My
mein's
wife just
delicious.
gets a chow mein. She just gets a chow mein for those half.
Then you should just get the rice, and then you can.
No.
Get about. By the way, put so much soy sauce. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not the best.
I know, I do
thing
the
for
same
you.
thing,
Yeah,
too.
Just keep putting it.
So remember, I think was this last week I was telling you about that sandwich that I had at the 4th of July party that I went to.
Yeah, it says the best.
It was
sandwich you've
the
ever had.
best
Tell
sandwich
me
I've
this
ever
way,
had.
I wasn't here for it.
Okay, so we went to our friends for the 4th of July, and they're wonderful hosts. They put together the best parties. They do the Christmas party every year. They did this. It was awesome. So they made this sandwich, that was tri-tip, provolone cheese, caramelized onions and mushrooms, arugula, avocado, and you kind of put it. It was
Sounds fantastic.
It was, and this big hollowed out French baguette.
Yeah.
It was just
great.
incredibly good. Attempted to recreate it at home last night. I think I succeeded.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh,
It
okay.
was really good, but what you just said, Slee, I oversalted like each of the steps. I think, or maybe not oversalted, but properly salted the mushrooms while they're caramelizing,
Yep.
properly salted the onions while they're caramelizing, salted the meat and the marinade, and then like salt. It tasted so good. By the time I was done with it, I needed 9 gallons of water just to try to bounce back from it. But it was a success.
Would you change anything?
Less salt.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Just like
hit.
significantly less at each step because it adds up to a whole bunch. It was
Amazing.
Terrific.
Badass. You got it
terrific.
down.
Might also had something to do with the fact that I walked 20 miles this weekend. That might have had a different. We'll talk about that
Okay.
coming up in a little bit. Here's the good news about Bronny in the Summer League. Are you ready? And I'm really not even trying to be cheeky when I say this. he's played really poorly, and we're already losing interest. Right? He still has, what is he, like 0 for 12 or 0 for 9 from the three-point line. He's playing okay defensively, but he's struggling to get the ball in the basket. And
by the way, that's not what he's going to do, period.
Of course
Even
not.
At his best, he's never going to be this.
Look, let's be honest. He's probably not going to do anything, period. Right? But we're already getting to the point where hey, did you see he missed another one? Hey, him missing a shot in a dead ball whistle is not a video anymore. It's just... We're getting to the point where he is and we'll never fully get there. He is a second-round draft pick that's probably not going to play very much, if at all. He's probably going to be in the G League, and we're getting closer to just moving on and talking about the guys that might actually impact the team. That's good news for him. That's good news for the Lakers.
I think you had the initial. This is the first time we're going to see him. That started with the Cali Classic.
Yeah.
Him and Dalton connect, and really nobody else was talked about but Bronny. I mentioned it to you. I said that there were 3 headlines. There was a moment here, a week and a half ago maybe. The top 3 headlines in the news on ESPN. One of them was about Bronny. The other one was about LeBron talking about Bronny. And the other one was, I think Lakers got assistant coaches. Whatever. It was something like
that's what it was.
I think that it's all going to depend on what happens when we get a little bit closer to the season. Let me throw something out your way. What would keep a Bronny story at the front line, and what would annoy you by it? Like, okay, hey, this is ridiculous. Is there something?
Nothing's going to annoy me by it because I'm a talk show host and I like when people are talking about ridiculous things.
What would annoy Laker fans? What would have to happen? Because
which version of Laker fans? The ones that are delusional and crazy, or the ones that look at it realistically?
The ones that worry about the basketball part and want to win basketball games.
There's 2 ways that Bronny James will be a regular part of what we're talking about once we get into the regular season. There's 2 ways. One is, because here's what I think is going to happen. Before I do that, what I think is going to happen is he's not going to play very much. The summer league will play out, and we've already lost interest. The enthusiasm or the passion for this it's already waning. It'll end. Camp will open. There'll be a little blip again because we're going to start again. He'll be with his father.
Yep.
The season will start. He may or may not play with his dad. Almost certainly will. And it's like, okay, go back to the G League and work on your game. We're done with it at that point. That's the most likely scenario, and I think that's something that everybody can kind of wrap their heads around. There are 2 alternates
here.
Which
is also the right thing.
Of course it is.
The right thing in the sense of...
For his development and for the team.
Let this dude develop.
Yes.
He's clearly not one of the best...
Probably not the best for
players
us.
on the roster.
Yeah.
Let this guy go down to
From
the
a basketball thing, it's the best. For content, not so much. The 2 good content things and the 2 bad basketball things are one of 2. He either never plays, or I should say, let me rephrase. He either shouldn't play and does, right? Where all of a sudden it's like he's taking minutes away from people. Like, why is he getting those minutes? Why is he out there? This is not an NBA quality player, and yet he's getting minutes. This doesn't make any sense. That would be bad because you're stymieing the development of somebody else, right?
Just to interrupt you there for a quick second, doesn't that also, like, as you're explaining...
That's the worst case scenario.
But doesn't that also seem like a major stretch? Like, I would be very surprised if we're having a conversation in November and the Lakers are trying to justify why they're playing Bronny James, and you and I are looking at each other and saying, is this really happening in front of us?
A major stretch?
Yeah, I think it would be a major stretch because they would get...
What if he's playing 5 minutes a night in the end of games that don't really matter all that much?
Well, but that doesn't matter. But what if he's playing 15 minutes?
Oh, that's different. That's
5
not
minutes at the end of the game because it's a blowout. A lot of second rounders might be playing in that.
Yeah. So the other alternate is he actually starts to improve. He actually plays when he does get minutes, looks pretty good. And then it's, hey, why aren't you using him more?
That also seems like a stretch. But
that seems like the ultimate stretch. But that's...
like, people were calling for Max Christie last year.
That's what I mean.
Times,
but Max Christie's a good player.
Ronnie might be a good player eventually.
But he's got to become a good player.
Second year in the league, Max Christie, a first-round draft pick, and actually a good player. Bronny is only known for right now is, well, the guy's on the team because of his dad.
couldn't start at the University of Green Bay, Wisconsin, according to the head coach at the University of Green Bay, Wisconsin, Doug Gottlieb.
Right.
Which, I get what Doug's doing. I like Doug. Yeah. But
Max Christie was a second-round pick.
Max Christie.
He was second round, 35th overall.
Okay.
But either way, it's still a similar. It's a second.
No, you're
year
right.
league.
Yeah, it is. I think.
Are you thinking of Jalen Hood-Schifino?
I might be thinking Jalen, but Jalen Hood was clear. Like, I don't know if this guy can get PT.
Yeah.
That's it. Like at the end of the day, listen. If Bronny James is a effective player, I just don't see it. Then of course people aren't going to care.
But that's the other way we talk about him, right? Is if he's like, hey, put him back out there. That looks okay. Why? Give that another run. Give that another. Hey, that looked pretty good too. Play him again.
That's okay.
That's great news.
Great.
But that's also the least likely scenario.
Sure.
The most likely scenario is we get bored. Bored's the wrong word. I don't like that. That we just decide.
It's a non-story?
It's a non-story. He's not ready for this. Let him go play in the G League and go to work on your game. And maybe if he pops up once in a while because they need a roster fill or whatever, that's fine. The scariest proposition is, hey, he's getting 8 minutes a night, 10 minutes a night. He gets 4 minutes at the end of the second quarter. He gets, 3 minutes at the beginning of the fourth. It's like, what's going on here? Like, and it just doesn't look good, right? Instead of anybody, right? I mean, if we're being honest, instead of anybody, that would be because you have the people out there that are just, no matter what, the Lakers could run you and me out of there. Lakers are going to the finals. Okay, great. And then there's hey, what are we doing?
I think, listen, I'm going to defend Laker fans here for a quick second. I think most of the noise that we heard about Bronny, most of it was, what are we doing?
Yeah. Oh,
So
I agree.
And I think it had less. Listen, if there were Laker fans that are out there that were saying, Bronny's going to kill it. Okay, well, I wouldn't believe. I'm less to take that person's opinion because what is that based off of? I think most of the noise leading up to the number 55 pick was, well, what are we doing? We're just going to draft this guy because he's Bronny's son?
Yep.
The answer was yes. Or LeBron's son. That's exactly what they're doing. That's where I think the frustration was in. It was, are we trying to win games here? Are we not trying to win games here? And you can make the justification, say, guys, it's just number 55, it's second round. You could do all that, but I understood where they're coming from. Can I read you something from over the weekend with Bronny James? Okay?
His Call of Duty championship?
That's not what I was going to read.
Because he did win a title this weekend.
You can get on the college football 24 now.
Yeah, maybe he'll go back to back in the college football video game that drops today.
The banner goes up to the in-season.
Banner number 19.
LBJ Jr. Call of Duty COD title. Yeah.
Guys, we got to move that 1980 banner.
He did win. I just feel like we should mention it. It's
here's what he said. He said that, by the way, I cannot tell you how much when I hear from him versus when I hear from other people talking in place of Bronny. He said, I'm just looking forward to any basketball I play, no matter what level I'm playing at. So we talked about this on Friday after the Summer League game. And I think, that has more to do with the question mark about, is this guy going to go play in the G League? I know there were some times it felt like where Rich Paul was speaking as his agent in place of Bronny. Hey, if you draft him, he's going to go play in Australia. This is not going to be one of those contracts where he's playing in the G League, or at least it sounded something like that. I like this from Bronny because this tells me, and you and I have had this conversation, I don't want to hear LeBron talking about Bronny anymore. I don't want to hear J.J. Redick trying to talk about why they drafted him and promoting him as something that is...
What about the head coach of their Summer League team saying he has a long NBA career ahead of him?
Or the head coach of the Summer League team. You know who I want to hear from? I just want to hear from Bronny. I want to, if I can hear more from Bronny about where he's at, what he thinks, I think that's better for Bronny James. This quote about, I'm just looking forward to any basketball I play, no matter what level I'm playing at. If we don't hear from Bronny in November and December, because that dude's down in the G League and he's just working on his game, that's good for Bronny James. So, anyways, that's one of the things you take away, and that he won the
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. I don't know how he did in the Super Mario Kart or if there was one, but I would imagine, look, he's probably a two-sport star. Are you altered or are you just playing straight up?
I am playing straight up. I'm very good at Mario Kart, guys.
Are you
Even straight up or
are
altered.
you better altered?
Depends. Depends on how altered. But I think that it's kind of like beer pong, where you get to an apex, and it depends on how many beers to how good you get.
Yeah.
But sober, I'm also very good at.
Yeah, if I'm altered, I start driving. I'll get a DUI in Mario Kart. I'm all over the place. I'm hitting other donkeys. Like, hey, well, I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Do you ever shoot yourself with one of the turtle shells that comes back around and you?
Of course you can.
Oh yeah,
By the way,
the turtle shells are useless.
Yeah.
Well, they're not useless. It's better to just have them kind of circling around you, so somebody hits you. Yeah, to protect you. It's also good to shoot them backwards. The problem is
shoot them backwards.
Well, the timing's got to be backwards, right? As they're going, right?
I didn't.
Shoot them backwards.
And someone's coming up right behind you.
That's my thing I learned today.
The
Okay.
problem is if it's like to your left and there's a wall coming and it doesn't just kill the shell, it's coming right back at you. Tumble over. Takes a second to get that thing back up and running.
The #1 Mario Kart radio station in the country.
Well, I didn't know. So, you have like strategies. I'm so impressed. I can't tell you. I love this. That you could shoot them backwards and bounce them off the walls. This is a game changer for me. I don't know if Lincoln Riley knows that. I bet Paul Finebaum thinks he does not. He lit him up.
Cow Paul.
That is wild. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shidano and Cappy start the LA afternoon drive takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball. So almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
I don't care what Andy Kamenetsky has to say about this. I'm doing it anyway, Slick. 14.09 mile hike on Saturday morning. And yes, I do feel like Aaron Donald when I did that. That's right. Post All-Star Friday night. Went out there, had a great time at the West Covina Sportsplex. Had a few beers, playing softball. Went to the Sunset Room, hung out, had another drink there.
Minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was not 14. Let's just leave it at that.
It was one beer's worth, I'm assuming.
It wasn't a beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
but
drink's
one
worth.
one drink. Yes.
Wow, we might be. He might have only been there for 7-8 minutes. We got to go look at. I'm gonna ask
security footage.
Security camera.
Yeah, it's about the length
see.
of. Sorry, it's about the length of mine and Mace's House of the Dragon talk. Probably is that how long you're?
Is it bad?
No, it's good.
No.
I just
Oh.
think that me and Mace talked about House of the Dragon for a long time.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was short. You're like, yeah, it stinks. Yeah, I agree, it stinks, and you were gone.
Yeah, you were probably like a commercial break.
No,
Not the
longer
11
than
o'clock
that.
Commercial break.
Longer than that.
Yeah, sometimes you double up on commercial
Yeah.
breaks. You're a double up.
Longer than that. But it was. And look, it was. It's not how much time. It was time well spent.
If Susan was there, how much time would you have spent? Because she, like you've mentioned before, is the one that
Susan's
kind
closing- she's closing up
She
shop.
wants to say goodbye to everybody. She wants to be a part of it.
She does. That's all very true. But in this particular situation, I think she would have been okay with the shorter version of the trip. Did you not hear what I said, Slee? 14.09 miles.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this all out here. That doesn't sound like. I don't think that is. I don't typically think of 14 miles in you, unless you're like, hey, I was going to Rotolo, I had a truck, and I was in my truck for 14 miles.
The distance I had to go to get it to an In-N-Out.
Is it 14 miles away?
I don't know. I'm just curious if that's something you would calculate.
Is that the most?
Mine's closer than that. Mine's like 6.
That's pretty incredible, right?
It was pretty good. 1,500 feet of elevation gain. 4 hours. 2 hours up, like 205 up and like 150
Would
back.
you have gotten lost in the Santa Cruz Mountains like that one guy who...
That's baloney, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. But no, first of all, the trail that I'm on is a well-trodden trail. There's people, you see a person every 30 minutes, or 30 seconds, I should say. You see him all the time. That guy that got lost in the woods, that guy looked like he'd been lost in the woods for a week to you?
I don't know.
I have no idea which guy's talking
So
about.
some guy got lost on a hike in the woods up in Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And he came out and he looked like he was a little muddy. In a week?
His hair was disheveled.
Okay.
He had drank water out of his boot.
Sure.
And, I think he did not look...
If you
super
were
worse
in the wilderness for a week, you are torn to pieces. You are sunburned to no end. You are just absolutely fried. This guy looked like he had a rough night. Like he had too much to drink and slept in his clothes. That's what it looked like. I'm just calling Cap. Maybe not. I don't know. That felt like Cap to me. He was walking out like, yeah, I was in here for a week. Look, I got a little mud on my cheek. Okay. I don't know. Paul Finebaum, this was at Big Ten Media Day, Em?
Yeah, this was actually at SEC Media Day. He was on First Take and he was talking to Heather Dinich, and she asked a question about, what he thinks of Lincoln Riley.
I think he's been a disaster. Let's go back 3 years. Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC. It was announced at this moment in time. What did Lincoln Riley do? He ran away. He did not want to deal with the Southeastern Conference at OU. He took what he thought was an easier course, so he goes out to Southern Cal. He takes Caleb Williams. Good first year, but since then, everything has gone wrong. I thought last year was one of the worst coaching jobs I have ever seen. Quite frankly, had I been the athletic director at Southern Cal, I would have fired Lincoln Riley because he's yet to show, after many years as a head coach, he knows anything about defense. He's gone through defensive coordinators. He just simply couldn't handle it. And now things are going to be 5 times worse in the Big Ten. On top of that, a number of his top players are bailing out. This is a guy who owned LA for about a half a minute. And quite frankly, next year at this time, I think he'll more than likely be an assistant in the NFL if he's that lucky.
That's Emily's production value at the end with the kaboom on the. So as I counted, Slee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those were 9 hot takes in there.
Yeah.
Some of them, I think, are accurate. Most of them are not. Should we go through it hot take by hot take?
Sure.
It was Lincoln Riley has been a disaster at USC. Absolutely wrong. Just wrong in every possible way. the program under, and I'm blanking on his name. Who's the guy before? The Clay Helton. The program under Clay Helton was a disaster. They were boring. They were uninteresting. The Coliseum was starting to get empty. That was a disaster. He won a Heisman Trophy with Caleb Williams. That, by definition, that's not a disaster.
Got to the Pac-12 championship.
Got to the Pac-12 championship. That's not a. Last year was bad.
Conversation.
Last year was bad, but do you look at it as a disaster?
No, I don't look at it as a disaster. Not a disaster. I almost, sometimes when I hear rants like that, I'm a fan of Finebaum. Most people are. Is there something personal there? Like, I feel like...
Oh, yeah. He does not like Lincoln Riley.
Okay, but that's okay to not like somebody, but if you're going to go off on your rant, just make sure that we're not looking at it and saying, wait a minute, you think he's this bad? You think that... Is it accurate? That's all I'm trying to say.
It's not. That is trying to get people to pay attention. Hot take number 2. He ran away from the SEC. Give that a maybe. I'll give that a maybe because the Pac-12, which is where he went, had he known he was going to ultimately end up in the Big Ten, maybe it's a different decision. But the route to the Pac-12 is far less dramatic than the route through the SEC. And that part I'll give a maybe to.
He left almost right after the announcement they're going to the SEC.
What about that one, Al?
If he left the SEC,
he ran away
from the SEC. Yeah, I think he ran away from the SEC.
You do? You think he saw that they were going to the SEC and he said, I don't have the chops for that. I'm running for the hills.
Well, I think you could come to USC. You could dominate the West Coast. Part of that has to do with that opportunity. At the time, like you mentioned, I don't think he knew at the time that he's walking into a conference that includes Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. 3 of the better programs in the entire country. I don't know how much that would have changed his decision if it would have changed at all, but he was also coming to SC.
That's why I'm not going all the way. Had he taken the job at Arizona State, he's running away. Had he taken the job at Cal, he's running away.
And SC was down.
Yes.
And SC was the pressure is immediately on you. And
It's
SC
SC.
was, look, we're giving you the keys to everything.
Absolutely.
You better change it. I mean, how much last year did we actually end up talking about USC?
A ton.
Last couple of years, how much did we end up talking about USC? And that was not the case before.
He took the most prestigious job in that conference.
He could have gone to LSU, though. He had the opportunity to go to LSU over Brian Kelly.
Maybe.
And
I'm not saying that it wasn't part of it, but running away means I'll just go coach Oregon State so I never have to see, Alabama ever in my entire life.
Or you take a UCLA job instead of a USC job.
Okay, so the next one, the easier course. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's absolutely, that part is 100% true in my mind.
But I'm going to add something to that because I think in college football, I understand that maybe this course is a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, if you can still get to where you're trying to get to, you're going to have to face the big boys anyways.
Yes, but if I can, look, Argentina's path through the Copa, they didn't play anybody, right? Like they still won it and it counts, but the path is easier through that part of the world.
I don't hate on that.
No, I don't hate on it, but what I'm saying is he's
accurate.
right.
Yes, right on.
Next.
But should he be looked at? Should he be looked down upon on that?
Maybe not looked down, but I think it's one of those. You want to do this the hard way or the easy way. Some people that pick the easy way get looked at a certain way.
A player, bad example. I'm just throwing it out there. A player leaves the Western Conference in the NBA, goes to the Eastern Conference because they think it's an easier path to get to the NBA Finals. I don't know if I'm looking at, or even a coach leaving the West and saying, I could go through less to give myself an opportunity to make to the NBA Finals.
Next one. Since then, it's been a complete disaster. What do you mean since? It's been one season. It's not like he showed up, won a Heisman Trophy, went to the conference championship game, and then had 5 years of catastrophes. He had 1 year. They've been there 2 years.
Bad.
It was, but the since then of it all makes it sound like you've had this long, drawn-out period of complete incompetence. It was a bad year, for sure. SC had a bad season, but I don't think you can paint it in a since-then light when it's been 1 year. If he has another one, sure. Another one after that, then it's hey, look, he had 1 good year, and since then, it's been a disaster.
I do feel like wasting Caleb Williams' career is a disaster.
Really?
I do.
Wasted? He won a Heisman Trophy.
And what does he have to show for it in terms of outside of individual accolades?
Here's where
that's everybody but 2 teams.
Here's where he hurt
That's
himself.
everybody but 2 teams.
Really 4 teams.
Here's where he hurt himself the most, and also hurt Caleb Williams in the process. He didn't handle the defensive part of the ball. And because he didn't handle the defensive part of the ball, that obviously
we will
hurt
get there.
Caleb Williams.
That's, I believe, number 7.
Okay.
The next one. One of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen. Really? The worst coaching job you've ever seen?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's a personal, I don't like him.
Right. Okay. They should have fired him after last season. No. Get out of here. Of course not. They won the Heisman Trophy. They're the number 1 pick in the draft. Stop.
And they're relevant.
And they're very relevant.
I'm more of a hot take guy than I thought.
Yes, he's 100. If you listen to any part of his show ever, he's hot takes all the time.
Oh.
He only does hot takes basically, but he does know what he's talking about. He does know how to raise the stakes, and they might be hyperbole, but he's hot takes.
We've got 3 left. I think 2 of them hit the center of the bullseye, and 1 is not a chance in hell. Center of the bullseye. He doesn't know anything about coaching defense. I think that was established going back to Oklahoma. They score 1 million points, and they give up 900,000. That's their strategy along the way. It's going to be 5 times worse in the Big Ten.
Ding, 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 ding.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. They're in a much worse league, a much harder league.
They're in a much harder league, and you also get 12 teams now that can make the playoff.
Take the playoff out of it. Just as difficult as that is, because, again, when you expand the playoffs, it means less, right? If is a wild card team the same as getting to the World Series? No, but we're all in the playoffs. I think it's, if you get to the Final Four, a little more meaningful. If you get to the championship game, a lot more meaningful. But just getting in now with such a wide field, I think that's not nearly the accomplishment it was up until now.
It's not, and I think, but here's what's going to happen with the real programs. Did you win some games? Did you get to the Final Four?
Yeah.
Were you upset by a bad team? Did you end up facing somebody that was in a conference that was lower than you and upset you? Like, I think it will add some narrative to it that doesn't currently exist.
The 5 times worst thing to me is when you were struggling in the Pac-12, you might finish 3rd, 4th.
Yeah.
Like, what if
what they did last year?
Right. What if they post a couple of 7th or 8th place finishes, and that's
in front of them, and Purdue,
it doesn't even matter. There's just, first of all, there's 18 teams in the league. Mm-hmm. So you're in 9th place. You're in the middle of the pack. You could, Wisconsin, Michigan State, like these teams that are kind of in the Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Washington. There's 5 right there that are better than SC coming into the season theoretically. Okay, 6th place, that's not good. Now, if one of those weird teams pops up, right? Minnesota has a good year. Indiana or whoever, Purdue, like you were saying. All of a sudden, you start landing in 8th and 9th place. That is no bueno.
And on top of that, you have, I mean, if you really kind of pay attention to this too, they were supposed to come to that conference and make it, oh my gosh, you got SC now, you got Washington, you got Oregon, right? You got some real programs too. I'm not telling you they're the SEC, any of that stuff, because they're not. Those are good programs.
Sure.
If you're on the bottom of all, even if they're just on the bottom of Penn State's in front of them, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Washington.
6th place.
Even if you're that, it's like,
it's a bad year. Can't be in 6th place.
Wow. And that's saying everything else runs normal with the rest of the rest of the conference. Yeah, that'd be bad.
And lastly, this time next year he'll be an assistant in the NFL. Not in a million years. He might be a head coach in the NFL, but him being an assistant coach in the NFL a year from now, 1 in 1,000? No chance.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. I think that, Finebaum, if he said just he will be in the NFL next year in some sort of coaching capacity, I could see that. But I don't think that it's an assistant. And also, I think Finebaum mentioned this too about his players running for the hills. That's every single team, besides maybe Georgia. Your kids are running for the hills because they might not get playing time. They want a different position. It's every single team.
You have to re-recruit your team every single year. And you're going to miss on half those guys. Half of them are going to go somewhere else because somebody's got more money, more playing time, more something. That's every team in the league. I'm not going to put that on his ticket either. Factor Cap's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Get at.
Locations around California to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. SoCalOilChange.com is where you find one of those locations, and you can get some game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant.
Hey, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back. First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hi, guys.
Aloha.
I'm here.
I am here.
Aloha.
Hey, guys. I also, in the break, I just was thinking through. I spent 1 year working on Paul Finebaum's show, so I have spent a lot of hours listening to him and his rants and his talk about things. I tried to make a list of people he beefs with, and it's very similar to me. I think that's why me and him got along.
You have an enemies list.
We both have long lists of beefs, seemingly out of nowhere. Lincoln Riley, obviously, it involves Lincoln, Oklahoma, the Big 12 in general, because they talk a lot of mess to the SEC, that they are better than them because they would face a lot of times in the college football playoffs in the time that I worked on the show. Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban, too. But Nick Saban's kind of like a sparring of equal minds in terms of football a lot of times. He hates the Pac-12. He beats the Pac-12 all the time, talks down to them. And then
talk about it anymore. So.
His own callers. He likes to beef with his own callers a lot. So similar to Rome, they have caller battles often, and they have that kind of stuff, which is always fun. But we were talking about the SEC Media Day, and it is Nick Saban's first media day as a non-member of the SEC, and so he got on with Greeny on Get Up, and this is what he. He told a story about why he wasn't initially let into the conference this morning.
Well, it's a little different. I've never worn a credential
in my life, and was always for 17 years able to get into SEC Media Day without a credential. I had to go back to the room today and get my credential to get in. So that's one of the biggest changes I see. It's not like it used to be.
So my statement is, Nick Saban should never have to wear a credential. Travis, fact or cap?
Fact. Nick Saban's credential is his face.
His face card.
Right. Nick Saban's ID is his presence, right? You don't need to know. Nick Saban's one of those guys. You could have never seen a football game in your life. You have no idea. Nick Saban walks in a room, you're like, that's somebody, because everybody in the room is staring at him. Everybody in the room is like, oh, there he is. Even if you don't know, you should probably know. Somebody told every single person that was working security at that thing, I don't care if Nick Saban comes in here without a credential. Nobody without a credential comes through this door, and somebody took that literally because Saban does not need credentials.
I mean, you might think that someone would know who Justin Timberlake is, but, you know, here we are.
Here we are.
Al, what do you think?
I think if it's anything, a sporting event, a football event, something like that, of course the guy doesn't need a credential. I don't know if it would be, I don't know, he went to think of a play or something like that. I know you don't need a credential for that, but yes, there's certain people in their field. Imagine if Magic Johnson was having trouble trying to get into Crypto.com arena. And somebody's saying, listen, sir, do you have a credential? And behind him is his statue, and he's trying to justify or figure that out. There's certain individuals that are specific to a sport, the business, a field. Yeah, you definitely don't need a credential.
Like, even Michael Thompson probably could get into like Laker Media Day without a credential. There's certain things that, like, you know, people should get let in.
I mentioned this on Friday. I'm sorry that we didn't get more of Nick Saban's personality while he was still coaching, because he clearly has one, that he's making fun of the fact that he couldn't get in, that he's willing to be the butt of the joke about his basketball or anything. He clearly has a sense of humor that I wish he would have unleashed on us 30 years ago, as opposed to installing the door button so he would save 5 seconds to look at tape. This was better.
Funty, what do you think? Nick Saban should never have to wear a credential.
No, he should not. And like Al said, it's like Magic Johnson walking across the street and the red coat saying, hey, you can't come back here.
Like, no, I'm Magic Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's your name? Magic. Oh, here you go, sir.
Yeah. Even Sliwa, I see him going across, walking around. They don't ask him for any
no credential Sliwa.
No, I wear, I just walk in and they're like, oh, no, that's probably not the case. You probably saw somebody else.
God, no.
Yeah. Okay, here's the other thing, too. Who was it? I'm trying to, why am I forgetting his name? Do you remember after the Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri?
Yeah.
We tried to get on the court.
Maybe somebody doesn't know who Masai Ujiri is from the Golden State Warriors security. Like, that could very easily be the case.
Sure.
It's not like Masai Ujiri is playing power forward. You know, like it's very easy.
It wasn't Kawhi Leonard.
It wasn't Kawhi.
Right.
It wasn't something like that. There are certain people, even though they're very, very powerful, still need to wear their credential.
Yeah.
I remember I might have even told you this story. It was Lakers-Kings. What were we in, Palm Springs? Lakers-Kings for a preseason game.
Yeah.
And it was in Palm Springs. And the owner of the Sacramento Kings.
Vivek?
Yep. He was walking right in front of me, and he was trying to get back towards the tunnel. And a security guard says, oh, where are you going? And he says, I own the Sacramento Kings. And then he was he was obviously cool. There's certain people I get if you don't recognize, even though they're powerful people.
All right, so this morning, Myron Metcalf was one of the guest hosts of Unsportsmanlike. So if you heard him this morning, I believe with Courtney Cronin, I love Myron. I think he's one of my favorite people up the national stage. He cracks me up all the time. He does the lead-in show a lot of times for our show for the Rams, and so I listen to it while I'm driving.
That's how I know.
SoFi and things like that. So him and Matt Jones. But anyway, Myron was talking on Unsportsmanlike how he doesn't like to be called. He feels like he's getting older and older, and I know that's how you feel, Travis. I'm sure. But he does not like being called Unk, especially by certain people, because he just doesn't think that he's that old. But he said one thing. He says that he felt really old for having change and for having a pager. Like, not just like cash, but having change. So
Coins.
Having change makes you old. Al, fact or cap?
Fact. I think there's something there. I think there's something there. But there's a couple different types of having change. Let me give you an example. My car, to the left of my steering wheel,
there's a little change holder there. I have change in there. Just, I don't know. Maybe I got to go park somewhere and it's just a meter and they don't take credit card. I don't know. I just have some change in there. It's been in there. But I feel like if you have change in your pocket wherever you go, it's a little bit more of an older move.
Trav, what do you think?
Fact.
You don't need 68 cents, and then when you're going to pay, you're going through your change to pay on the dot.
That's an old person thing for sure. That's the lady in front of you in the grocery store that goes, "Oh, I have a dime."
Yep.
It's like, oh boy, here we go.
I'm that guy.
Right. When I was first starting to work, I would come home from work at the end of the day, and you'd take out your keys, your wallet, whatever else you might, and there would always be 6 or 7 coins in your pocket, and because you had bought lunch, you would maybe
paid in cash.
You'd pay in cash, and so you at the end of the day, you'd take that handful of coins and you'd throw them in the bucket on top of the
Go
desk.
to the Coin Master or whatever the grocery store.
And then at the end of the month or the 6 months when the bucket was filled, you had $50 or $60 that you could turn in and go buy groceries with or go do whatever it is. I can't remember the last time I had a coin in my pocket, and I am an old person, and I still don't have coins.
Funch, what do you think?
I'm with Slee. I have a bunch of change in my car. It's just all over my car, a bunch of change. And one day I went to the gas station. I used cash because it's cheaper if you use cash. They gave me $2 worth of nickels. Like a roll.
They gave it to you?
They gave it to me as change.
Should be illegal.
Literally. So I have a $2 roll of nickels in my car. I don't know what to do with it.
And nickels of all things, not quarters, just nickels.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No dimes. No.
That's
usually when
Use
you
it
go
for a
to
fight.
Yeah, right. Usually when you go to a place and they want you to tip them, and let's say, hey, could I get change for a 10 or something like that? They're giving you all ones, or they're giving you 5 with 5 ones.
You
Like
buy a
they're
drink or something,
indicating, they're indicating.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Let's leave some tip here. But the change thing, somebody giving me $2 in nickels, there's a good chance where I'm like, just put it, you know where it says take a penny? Go ahead and put $2 worth of nickels there.
Nickels are the worst.
They are. I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
Go next time you go back, pay with the very same roll of nickels.
And I can't use it here because the vending machines don't take change anymore.
Yeah.
When you go back to that same gas station, you said you pay in cash, give them their damn nickels back.
Okay,
$2.06.
I will. I should walk into a Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
All business. What are you here for? I need $2 in.
Okay. I have one more left for you guys. So I saw over the weekend this movie called Longlegs. It is very scary. If you go see it, be prepared. It is incredibly ominous. It's not like jump out scary. It's not kill scary. It's just like it takes over you, might give you nightmares. But Longlegs, it debuted incredibly this weekend. Biggest opening for Neon, which is the production company, and it doubled industry projections at $7 million. It made $22 million this weekend.
Whoa.
Congrats to Longlegs. But Longlegs themselves, Neon put out a poster, with their poster, which is like a red face and eyes, and it says, the #1 movie in America, with an asterisk. And the asterisk says, after Despicable Me 4.
That's lame.
So my statement is, Longlegs should have just said #2 at the box office. Funch, fact or cap?
I say cap. They should just say nothing. Just say nothing. We just came out last week. It's a good movie.
Yeah, come see it. Trav, what do you think?
Funch just sold me. I don't, how do we say, cap. Say nothing. Say, or put something like, I don't forget the number you said.
#1 scary movie in America.
#1 horror movie in
too,
America.
Yeah.
22 million at the box office opening weekend.
Just
Something like
Groove.
that. But don't say we're #1 when you're not. And don't
Minus
say
the other one.
#2 is, nobody wants to be #2.
Yeah.
Nobody's idea is, hey, you know what we are? We're the second best.
We're #2.
It doesn't feel good.
First
Say
loser.
Nothing. Say nothing. Yeah,
Al,
if you're
what
not
do you think?
first, you're last.
You might have already said it, but is this is a surprise that the movie's doing this well?
Yeah, it was an indie movie, made almost twice as much as they were projected to make.
So I'm gonna go. I don't have a problem. I'm gonna go cap. I don't have a problem with them. Basically, it's a joke, right? They're not taking themselves too serious. They also kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking about. I had never heard of the movie. The fact that here's a movie that's in at #2 against a pretty good
another horror movie, Maxine. Several other like big summer movies. I know you guys don't know Maxine, but it's another big movie that came out this weekend.
I get what you guys are saying, but I think they're doing it more at a fun,
tongue-in-cheek,
making fun of themselves, but not in a bad way because they weren't supposed to be there.
If it was done on purpose, then it's funny. But if it was done to mislead's too strong of a word.
I feel like it's done on
It's
purpose.
done to go viral on Twitter, but it's still fun to have it. But like, if you're interested, it was hard for me to get a ticket this weekend. I tried to get a ticket like on Friday, and almost every showing at Alamo Drafthouse was sold out. Like it was like a Marvel movie level, at least at the Alamo. But it stars Nicolas Cage. He is the serial killer. He does his best kind of version of Buffalo Bill. Silence of the Lambs. It's very Silence of the Lambs.
I'd watch that so hard.
If you like Silence of the Lambs, you'll probably like Longlegs.
Are you a horror movie fan?
No.
Yeah, Michelle hates them too. I don't mind them, but she'll just never. She never.
It's
wants to
very
watch
good.
them.
If you like horror movies, go see it.
Is
It does not star Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly in the film.
But Micah Monroe is very beautiful. Look her up. You might like her.
I have an
I'll
assignment.
I'll send you her Google page.
I will look up Micah Monroe.
Maika Monroe.
Micah Monroe. I'm looking at that. Slee, if you're looking at the universe and you're looking for some stars to align as to why you should be excited as a Rams fan like me, another one snapped into place. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa Show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shitano and Cappy start the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th. Classic. Hear the Home Run Derby from Globe Field in Arlington today at 5 p.m. And then the All-Star Game tomorrow at 5 p.m. We bring you the play-by-play courtesy of ESPN Radio. You'll hear it on 7:10 a.m. and in crystal clear digital audio on the all-new ESPN LA app. Combo plates today in the afternoon at 5 o'clock after Cappy and Beto. The Home Run Derby made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit pechanga.com for more information. All-Star Friday night, Reaction Monday continues right now on 710.
All right, the Midsummer Classic is on 710 ESPN. We'll bring you live play-by-play of tonight's Home Run Derby live from Goldfield, courtesy of ESPN Radio. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. after Cap and Beto's combo plate. And then tomorrow at 5, we bring you the play-by-play of the All-Star Game. All the coverage, of course, made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit pechanga.com for more information. By the way, heads up, following the Home Run Derby, we'll have Lakers talk tonight. Trevor Lane, Lakers Nation, so he's going to join the show as well. So I was telling you, this weekend I was down in San Diego, so I picked up my buddy from the airport. And him and I went to college together, went to San Diego State together. But he lives now on the East Coast. He's in Annapolis. He's the one that I went to with a Padres-Phillies game.
Okay.
Get together. First thing we did, we went to a place it's called the Fish District down in Solana Beach area. First thing we did, got there. He wanted some type of seafood. They got great seafood there. I ended up with a mahi-mahi burrito, okay? Basically one that you could kind of hold and just...
Like a small child?
Yeah, small child. It couldn't have been maybe 2-3 hours, let's say 2.5 hours later. We decide, all right, there's a place not too far. It's called Culture Brewing. Great little local brewery. Let's go grab a beer in there. As we're kind of walking in, I just see this sign that says gourmet tacos and beer. I mean, gourmet tacos. Hey, I've been here before. They've never had tacos. Hey, I had a guy all the way in the back, tented up, just grilling tacos, doing fish tacos, shrimp tacos, doing carne asada tacos. Sit down, we get a beer, and I'm like, okay, we'll both get
after your burrito.
This was probably 2.5 hours later.
Okay.
2.5 hours later.
I like this.
We went and got a shrimp taco, and then we got a carne asada taco. We're going to try both, right? So I have that, eat it, enjoy it. Amazing, great, awesome. Take off. What a great brewery. We walk out. Probably about 3 hours later. Now we've kind of done a couple different things. We were down at the beach for a little bit, had another drink, whatever we had. And he had already been telling me, he's like, listen, I'm only here for 24 hours. And he was eventually going to go meet with his folks. He's like, I got to get a California burrito at some point. So probably 3 hours after that. I'm not kidding. This is the exact timeline. I picked the guy up at noon, okay?
You're about to go for your third meal.
So by 8 o'clock, there we are. There's a place in Encinitas called the Taco Stand. We're having California burritos. I had, in a span of 8 hours, I had a mahi-mahi burrito. I had 2 tacos, and then I capped it off with a California burrito of just this.
and how many drinks in? You said you had at least a couple beers in there.
Plenty of drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had plenty of drinks. I mean, I think I told you I had the cooler there, so we were having the beers. Even had a little bit of bourbon. I don't know what the hell was going on.
What? Okay, I have many questions, as you might be not surprised.
Everything was walking distance, so we
I've
never
had
to drive
fish
around.
tacos a million times.
Yeah.
I've never had a fish burrito. What else goes in a burrito that has mahi-mahi as your protein in it? Like, is it like a taco where they put the cabbage and all the pico de gallo and the crema and all that? Is that in there too?
Whenever I have a fish burrito, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You have all the cabbage and white sauce and stuff like that.
Also in this, beans and rice was in there as well.
Okay. And good?
Very
because the cabbage, the crema, the pico de gallo, that also, like the beans and rice with the fish kind of throws me. It's good.
Very good.
Okay.
And you still ate another burrito?
A little bit later. It was embarrassing.
That's awesome.
Sunday, yesterday, there was a lot that was kind of like mixed together from the day before.
Did you do kind of like hair of the dog but burrito form? Just have another burrito in the morning?
He chased it with Taco Bell just to kind of just put the capper on it.
I did not do that. I should have done that. But yeah, it was just like I was walking out. By the time I'm leaving this place, I'm like walking out just like disgusted in myself. He felt good.
That's
the
a
greatest
lot
combination.
of Mexican food in one day, and especially if you're drinking some beers in there too, because beers are filling you up more than anything.
If there's any justification, which there isn't, the mahi-mahi burrito, that's not your typical burrito.
No, but it's still a tortilla. It's rice and beans.
I know.
It's meat.
Lots of carbs.
Like, yeah.
It's carb heavy. Nobody's saying that it's not carb heavy. I'm not trying to justify that one. So, a lot of food.
That sounds terrific.
A lot of food.
That sounds. Just ballpark it. How many beers in that same window where you had the mahi burrito till you shut it down that night? How many beers in that day? Take all the other things out. Just beers.
I had 5 beers and a bourbon.
You had 2 burritos, 2 tacos, 5 beers. That's awesome. I'm so happy that you did that to yourself.
And I found time. We threw the football around on the beach. I wasn't moving very fast.
Burn some calories?
Yeah, I wasn't moving very fast.
I don't know if you've experienced
We did
this.
go for long walks, too, just kind of because
Yeah, keep
everything
it
is
moving.
within a couple of miles.
I get that.
So we just went.
The end of the night, you're back wherever you were staying on Saturday night. Did you have the food shame? Did you have what the hell am I doing to myself?
What do you mean? When was this?
Have you never had this before?
When was this? You said at what time?
Saturday night, at the end of the night. At the end of this 5 beer, 2 burrito, 2 taco excursion, you're calling it a day. You're in bed. You're getting ready to fall asleep. Do you not have that? What did I just do to myself?
Bro, I'm telling you the story in shame right now. This wasn't on Saturday night that I felt the shame. On Monday morning or Monday afternoon hanging out with you, I'm still in shame.
No, I get that. I get, but usually like it's one of those times, especially if there's drinking involved, because the drinking opens up all of the other bad. Like, yeah, I'll have another burrito. Yeah, I'll have a slice of pizza. Yeah, let's get some burgers.
Can I
Like,
tell you something? But drinking for me doesn't do that.
oh, really?
Yeah, drinking for me doesn't do that.
Oh, well, you're lucky.
I'm with you, but look how much I ate while I was drinking. Like I say that, and here I was just eating away.
Aaron Donald is in pretty good shape. Why that matters to you, Rams fans. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
KSPN Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station. It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
All right, the Midsummer Classics on 710 ESPN will bring you all the live play-by-play at tonight's Home Run Derby, live from Globe Field, courtesy of ESPN Radio. Coverage begins at 5 after Cap and Beto. They got the combo plate, and then tomorrow at 5 we'll bring you the play-by-play of the All-Star Game. All the coverage made possible, of course, by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit pechanga.com for more information. I got to get back out there the next 30 days or so.
It's a pretty nice spot.
Yep.
It's a pretty nice spot. You said you wanted to start playing golf again.
Yeah.
That's a good place to go play.
Did you say that's a challenging course?
Oh, yeah. It's a great golf course.
I should be starting back
Difference does it make?
Pick up my ball. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, just play fast. Nobody cares if you play well or bad. Just play fast. It's all good.
And if I go at 2 p.m., be nobody out there.
It'd be a little warm this time of year. 2 p.m. might be an open tee time. You might be able to book that one. You might not even have to use your Slee card to get that tee time. Get me a 7:15 while you're at it. I'll take the 7:15 in the morning. Saturday is what I'd like. Thanks in advance for doing that. I just saw BC go through the Gold Glove winning third baseman from the Sliwa team.
Oh, he was amazing.
That guy was he caught everything. The very first pitch of the game, you threw to me. Mm-hmm. And you know this about me, Sliwa. I don't like to see a lot of pitches. I'm up there to hit.
I swung at every first pitch.
I had 2 at-bats. I saw a grand total of 3 pitches. And the only reason I saw a third was because the second one you threw me was basically halfway up the first baseline.
It's warming up my arm.
I hit the ball hard my first at-bat. I hit it on the button, right? And I'm like, okay, I knew I'd hit it right at Brian. I'm like, there's no way he's going to catch that, and there's no way that's not me on first base. Catch it, picks it up, throws it across the diamond, 1 out. Then I'm coaching third base later in the game, and I think it was DeMarco up to bat. DeMarco hits a rocket to kind of up the line.
BC?
Yes, at third base he put because I remember looking at him. We had a conversation.
DeAndre had a bang play, and I can't remember.
It might have been DeAndre, but he short hops it on the backhand.
Yeah.
Turns, sets his feet,
pop,
strike across the field. Like what is going on here?
Listen, as a pitcher who's 2-0 in the softball game.
Oh yeah, you didn't get the L the first year. That was Cappy.
No, I didn't pitch.
I know.
I never pitched. As a pitcher who's 2-0, there's a certain amount of confidence that goes into the pitcher's mind when he knows he's got that type of defense behind him.
You just let him hit it.
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Then I'm not trying to get too cute. I'm just throwing strikes. And if you hit it, I know I got a defense that's back there.
It worked out for you. Where did you see that picture of Aaron Donald, Em?
It was on his Instagram.
It was on his Instagram.
You know, he tends to post a good amount on his Instagram, his life and everything. But
yeah.
He happened to also post a picture of himself working out in the gym, and he looks
ready.
Already? Yeah.
He looks ready. There's no other way to describe it, right? That he looks like a guy that's getting ready to go into his 11th NFL season, not a guy who just hung up his cleats after 10 NFL seasons.
Yeah, I'm looking at the photo right now.
It looks like somebody who's ready to go. And I get any one of these things makes you go, yeah, whatever. But stack all of these things up. Aaron Donald walked away, and everybody in the Rams is like, yep, great job. We love you. Go enjoy your retirement. If you change your mind, come on back. Mm-hmm. They leave his locker in place. Mm-hmm. All the players are constantly talking about how much he means and how they hope that he comes back. Les Snead even kicked the door open at one point, talking about how, we'll see what it looks like if and when. That you have him looking absolutely ripped in these pictures. Look, Aaron Donald was not going to turn into a big fat guy in 6 months. I get that.
Those guys lose mass
they
when
do.
they retire.
They do. That's a good point.
They do.
They're still in shape, but they're like 20 pounds lighter,
yes.
30 pounds lighter because they're just not lifted
He still looks like he's the preeminent defensive tackle in the NFL.
Can I add one more layer too?
Please.
The money.
Yes.
The contract that he signed.
Yes.
Right? Walking away from, and listen, I get it. And if he
the
decides to walk away, fine.
The money.
But that's $30+ million that's also potentially still on the table. He's had time to think about it as well.
He's going to have an opportunity to sit back and see what happens. The Rams will be pretty good. I don't know if they'll be great, but they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to win more than they lose, and maybe even a little bit better than that, right? So let's just pick some round numbers. Through the first 10 games of the season, you're 6-4. Okay, through the first 12 games of the season, you're 8-4. Okay, that you're good, maybe not great, but you're pretty good. Now all of a sudden, I could be out there. All of a sudden, hey, I don't have to play every down. We can be used as more of a tactical insertion into the defense. The longer he stays out, the less they have to pay him, right? You get some prorated rate. Why not jump back in at some point, Thanksgiving, Christmas, towards the end, and make another run at it? Because it's not like he's cutting corners. Nobody's questioning Aaron Donald's want or work ethic. Maybe he just needs a little bit of break. Everybody seems very open to the idea of his return. Am I just being an optimistic Rams fan, or all of these are all buying signs? These are all indicators that he would consider coming back.
Let me help you. If we had heard stuff from McVay or Les Snead or something like that, guys, I know he's still young. I know he still looks like he's in great shape. He's told us it's over. Like, we just want you to know, let's not get too excited for this or that. Let's say that happened. Let's say Aaron Donald decided to go on Instagram and while he's flexing, saying, loving the retirement life, whatever. If they gave you indications, and I think you can connect the pieces, and I think that's accurate, and I think it's fair to connect the pieces. And I think it's also, there is a world where, listen, if the Rams are 4-6 through 10 games, probably not happening.
Yeah.
But if they are 6-4 through 10 games, okay, that looks interesting. Okay, if I did come back, I don't have to go through. He could have just needed a break from football, but that's still in him, and he finds out more and more while he's watching other guys on Sunday saying, you know, I still, that is something that I'm still passionate about. But I don't think you're looking at this just from a Rams fan perspective.
And also, I think that he's talked often about how much he dislikes training camp. That, you know, he will work hard and be there first every training camp, but it's obviously not his favorite thing, and he almost likes to miss it by sitting out for a while for his contract years. But here's a perspective maybe about this that maybe isn't so rosy. So you have this, like, don't worry, our superhero can come and save us. Don't worry, hanging over the entire season, okay? So, like, you're saying, just wait till Aaron Donald gets back. Oh, he might come back. And then your team is 6-6 when you're at 12 games in. And you say, but wait. And then this superhero waiting in the wings isn't going to come and save you. And maybe it's extra motivation to play well earlier in the season. Obviously, you don't need any extra motivation. But I'm thinking about a hovering over, just wait, that might happen.
If it's a storyline week to week, you know, guys are being asked about it.
Yeah.
McVay's got to address it all the time. It could be a distraction. I don't disagree with that. But if it's just one of those where, and I think if there's a coach to put it to the side and tell his players do not pay attention to any of this, it's Sean McVay. But that's an interesting take on that.
Well, this is why I'm not so worried about that. They've dealt with this before. This is not the first time they've dealt with something like this. Now, it's not Aaron Donald, who's, you know, maybe the greatest player ever at that position. But when Andrew Whitworth retired, okay, he leaves, and then go fast forward to the beginning. They win the Super Bowl. He retires. Fast forward to the beginning of the next season. Rams offensive linemen start dropping like flies. Literally from the opening game, they're just one after the next. I think they played like 15 linemen that year, Al.
And Whitworth is working for NFL
He's
Fox,
working,
yeah.
but again, stayed in great shape and was around a lot. And there was always that, hey, maybe Whitworth will come back. Maybe they dealt with the idea of their best guy coming back to save the day. Now Whitworth never came back. He's in TV, and now it's been a couple of years. You know that's
still
over.
ask him about it. Jokingly.
They still do ask him about it, but they've been through the hey, we do have an answer. Maybe we could just talk him into it. It's different. But here's another thing. That's not the only time they dealt with it. When they won the Super Bowl, do you remember who was an incredibly important part of what they did only in the playoffs? Literally, only in the playoffs.
Weddle?
Eric Weddle.
Weddle, yeah.
Eric Weddle comes back. It hadn't played, I want to say, in a couple of years.
Yeah, he had the green dot.
And comes back in and plays an incredibly important role in the Super Bowl. Again, Eric Weddle, Aaron Donald, that's not apples to apples, but this idea of, look, you guys stay in it. Maybe you don't. There isn't a magic number. Maybe it's not 9-3 or 8-4 or 7. It's just, guys, get in it, and I might be able to help you at the very end. That like the Weddle plan. They've done it. Had they never dealt with it, then I think the idea of it being a distraction maybe had a little more traction. But this, and again, Sean McVay runs a pretty tight ship. The Rams don't do distractions. They nip that stuff in the bud just about every single time.
So Aaron Donald is the greatest of all time at his position, if not the greatest of all time in his position. But, you know, last 2 seasons, he was not racking up sacks. He was not the same statistical player that he has been in the past because, again, he's having triple, quadruple teamed. But what if he comes back and he's not Aaron Donald? Like, we haven't seen him come back 8, 9 games in the season.
I think everyone would love to see, like, take that risk and see what happens. I think that would be, can that happen? It can. Is he not maybe the same statistical player? I think you had said something a little bit earlier. All right, if he was an A+ before, was he an A-? I'll take a B+. I'll take a, whatever that looks like.
I think last year he was an A-, and he was probably still the best guy in the league at that position. And was it his best season ever? No. Was he better than everyone else? Yes. And here's why I think that's unlikely. That guy is competitive. He knows his body. He knows where he is. And I don't think that he would put himself in that position to, hey, let's see what this looks like. If he doesn't think he can come back and beat Aaron Donald, I don't think he's doing it.
That's fair.
He's one. There are some guys like, yeah, man, I'll come in and I'll collect another check. I'll make one more run at it.
Something to prove.
Right.
He can walk away.
He's 10 for 10. 10 years in the league, 10 All-Pros. It's like him and Barry Sanders. That's the list of guys that went 10 for 10 along the way. Somebody finally got the quarterback list right, too. And my man, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's in the top 5, Slee. That's next. 710 ESPN.
Is that Matthew?
Major announcement number 2. Well, with 10 days to spare on his current contract, after months of tireless negotiating, Cappy finally did the right thing and signed the deal. Congratulations to Cappy on a new multi-year contract that will keep him on the LA Afternoon Drive takeover for years to come.
Against Bilal Muhammad, take UFC to a new level where every fight comes to life, putting you cage side. Wrap yourself in the heart-pounding action of every knockout, strike, and submission. Experience a match like never before. Edwards versus Muhammad, all in shared reality. Limited tickets only at Cosm Los Angeles.
Recent cases settled in the Los Angeles area show a settlement of $250,000 for a car accident. Another case shows a $75,000 settlement for a slip and fall. If you've experienced a personal injury matter, a car accident, slip and fall, you need someone you can trust to get you what you deserve. I'm Joseph S. Normand. If you've been injured and have questions, give us a call. 213-747-2000. 213-747-2000.
At Cart and Alleyway Hyundai, the sizzling summer sales event is on now. Lease a new 2024 Hyundai Elantra SCL for only $249 a month plus tax for 36 months on approved credit. Plus get peace of mind driving with America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the Hyundai Assurance Program. Cart and Alleyway Hyundai just off the 91 freeway in the Corona Auto Center or cartandalleyWayHyundai.com. Lease for $249 plus tax. License and fee to well-qualified buyers. 36-month lease. 10K miles per year. $34.99 due at signing. Not all buyers will qualify. Down payment may be required. Subject to HMF credit approval. Expires 07/31/2024.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
And it is an All-Star Friday Night Reaction Monday, reacting to everything from our All-Star game on Friday night in West Covina. Thank you to everyone who was out there. By the way, the real All-Star game is happening this week. The Midsummer Classic. Hear the Home Run Derby from Globe Field in Arlington today at 5 p.m. And then the All-Star game tomorrow at 5 p.m. We bring you the play-by-play courtesy of ESPN Radio. You'll hear it on 710 a.m. and in crystal clear digital audio on the all-new ESPN LA app. Combo plates today in the afternoon at 5 o'clock after Cappy and Beto. The Home Run Derby made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit Pechanga.com for more information. All-Star Friday Night Reaction Monday continues right now on 710.
Thank you to everybody that came out on Friday night. A great night in West Covina, the West Covina Sportsplex, and everybody that came out saw All-Star Friday night. It was awesome. Thanks to everybody that was there. Thanks to everybody that watched the video stream on YouTube as well. If you were unable to come out, if you were unable to see the action on the YouTube stream, you can still see it on our YouTube channel at ESPN Los Angeles. And to all the fans that participated in the first ever 710 listener game, get ready for next year's rematch. And I mentioned
no
at the
spoilers
top.
for the game.
No, yeah, exactly. Mentioned at the top. Thanks again to COT member Travis Lee All-Star John Ferris for giving me those wonderful old newspapers that are framed beautifully. A couple of famous moments in Dodger history. Just awesome, John. Thank you for doing that. It really does mean the world to me. Speaking of the Dodgers, tonight could be a little Teo moment. Teo got inserted into the starting lineup. He's going to play center field on Tuesday night in Dallas in the All-Star game. So let's have a little weekend of Teo, a little home run derby action, a little MVP of the All-Star game starting in there.
You know, going into the season, that Teo would be. So there's two Dodgers in the starting lineup for the NL.
Yep.
And it's Shohei Ohtani's DH and Teo.
Yeah, he's had a remarkable season. He has been Shohei. He's either the leader for the MVP or he's number 2 behind Harper. No surprise. He's Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. That Mookie Betts was having an MVP season, no surprise. That Teo is doing what he's doing.
You called how big of a pickup that was, but it's so easy. If Teoscar Hernandez was on, pick a team, he's on the Giants, or he's on the Arizona Diamondbacks, something like that, he could stand out more.
Yes.
He's standing out on a Dodger team with all these unbelievable
Think about
players.
it, though, and you're an opposing team. Mm-hmm. You want to pitch to Mookie?
No.
You want to pitch to Shohei?
No, I'm good.
You want to pitch to Freddie?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're going to have to pitch to some. You want to pitch to Will Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, here come now there's I have to. I have to attack somebody, and he's doing exactly what you would hope is
take advantage of.
Yeah, you want to throw me pitches over the plate? Sure. Mm-hmm. And he's having an all-star caliber season. He's been absolutely terrific.
By the way, Big E had mentioned I was talking a little bit about my weekend of just eating too much Mexican food. He says, that's too much Mexican food are words I thought I'd never hear coming out of Travis's mouth. Fair.
Did I say too much, or I think I said that's a lot? I think I said that's a lot of Mexican food. I don't know. I may have said too much.
We'll have to go back to
if I did say too much, I would like to rephrase. Because look,
a lot is better.
When we've had the taco guy at my house, there's always enough food there to feed 100 people, and we have like 12.
The time we were there last year, Notre Dame, USC.
Yeah.
When everyone was done and couldn't eat anymore, it looked like he had just got there. With how much
we
food
overbought.
that he had.
We overbought. So I end up eating all the leftovers over the next 3 or 4, and I'll have it 3 meals a day, sometimes 4. And after the 3rd or 4th day, it's like, I don't think I can ever eat this again. And then 2 days after that, I'm like, you know what sounds good? A little Mexican food. Let's go down to the taco plot.
The beans and rice, right?
Yeah.
Got it in the foil.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So who was the list, Em? Was it last week? Pete Prisco?
Pete Prisco for CBS Sports put out a list of the top 100 players in the NFL, any position, and there was, I believe, 16 quarterbacks listed, and Matthew Stafford was not one of them.
Which is absurd.
Absurd.
A better list came out. ESPN this morning had a list of the top quarterbacks in the league as determined by NFL executives, right? They were able the reporter spoke to a handful of people and he ranked accordingly. No surprise, really, that Mahomes is number 1. Really, probably not a huge surprise that Burrow is in the top 2 or 3. He's number 2. Josh Allen, number 3.
Surprise.
Okay, fine. Lamar Jackson at 4. I mean, statistically, okay, Lamar Jackson's pretty awesome. He's fun to watch, but it comes down to winning time, for lack of a better word. He has not
But he has
thrived.
2 MVPs.
He does, and he's a terrific player. I don't mean to say he's not, but if you're telling me, hey, we got to go win tonight, and you're playing against a really good team, I don't know if Lamar Jackson's off the board number 4 for me.
He's not.
Yeah, no, right?
1,000% he's not. I think, and I don't know because I don't know the full details of this, is this just taking, because you're right, there is, if you said, give me the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL, the list is going to be different. There are going to be some changes. If you're looking for, I want to start a franchise tomorrow, that list is going to look different. If you're just saying, go ahead and rank the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Coming into this season.
I'm okay with it, but I'd be looking at Lamar Jackson. It's impossible not to, and take what's happened in the playoffs and the postseason and say, are you sure you want that guy there, or are you sure, okay, that sounds fine through a 17-game regular season schedule, but they've done it before. He's won individual awards. They've had really good records, and then they've stepped into the playoffs and failed, and a lot of times you're looking at Lamar there and saying the dude didn't deliver.
Last year, they're at home against Kansas City. Kansas City did not play all that well, and they still lost.
Only had, I don't
I
know,
think 17 or 20.
I don't think scored in the second half, or was something like that.
It was. I think they kicked a couple of field goals.
17,
I don't think
14.
The Ravens had been one of the best offenses all season and just kind of froze up in the AFC Championship game.
Matthew Stafford comes in at number 5. That feels about right. Here's who's on his heels. You've got Justin Herbert, who's at 6. Feels a little premature,
it's
perhaps.
Also just based on talent. If this is how they deemed it, was the voters gave their 10 best players the position, compiled results and ranks and composite of stats and everything. So it wasn't just what they said. So it's just that maybe Justin has been held back.
We're going to need to see it this year. It's finally time. It's finally time for Justin Herbert to be something other than you know what? If he just had a coach and some guys around him, this would be real different. Okay, you got a coach. Yeah. You got some guys. Yeah. You've been in the league. You've been in the league long enough to where there's no more, well, he's just wait until he figures it out. No, you've been in the league long enough. You should have it figured out by now, or at least mostly figured out. That feels C.J. Stroud at number 7.
Damn.
To M's point, if we're drafting for, hey, you got to pick a guy for the next 10 years, Stroud is in this mix. Right now, one good year.
Say before, even, you kind of start looking at some of these. Goff obviously has to be.
Goff's
on
9.
The top 10?
He's 9.
Okay. Should be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Aaron Rodgers at 8, and you've got Dak at 10.
Blech.
Right. Exactly.
Dak?
Dak at 10.
Come on.
That's okay. That's not crazy.
Who are we putting in there instead? So here's the thing, Adam. Who you want in there instead?
Crazy.
You want Jalen Hurts? You want Kirk Cousins? You want Brock Purdy? Who do you want in that spot?
Hurts, I wouldn't mind either.
I would put Purdy over
Trevor
Dak
Lawrence.
Prescott.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong.
The Super Bowl.
He did.
He did.
What has Dak frickin' done? What has Dak done at all?
Butt piss.
By the way, that's completely fair. That's not completely out of the ordinary there. But I don't mind him being a 10.
Boo.
10. You're making it sound like he's
10 is the top third. I don't know if he's in the top third. You know what I mean? Like 10 is there.
You surprised Purdy's not in the top 10?
No, but I would have him ahead of Dak.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if
consider the talent Dak has had around him, and they have
they've
done
been
nothing.
Loaded. Now again, the knock on him, or not the knock on him, the qualifier on him is that he's had a bad coach his entire time.
Sure.
The qualifier is Jason Garrett was a bozo, Mike McCarthy's a bozo adjacent.
Won a Super Bowl, though.
With maybe one of the best ever to do it.
Sure, but he is a Super Bowl winning coach that there are very few of that are still active
True.
in the NFL right now.
True. Would you want him to coach the Steelers?
No, I would not.
There you go.
But I'm just Dak in the top 10. No, thank you. I would put Purdy over Dak Prescott.
This is why all this comes back to Aaron Donald. That they have the quarterback, they have the coach, they have a couple of wide receivers. The offensive line got fixed. They got a really good running back. The question for the Rams going into the season is, they're going to be able to hold somebody under 24 points a game regularly. They're going to be able to hold somebody under 27, 28, because I do think they're going to score 24, 27, 28 kind of regularly. That feels where they are offensively. If you just put Aaron Donald right back on that defense that you have right now, doesn't that feel like, are they going to give up 30 points a game? I don't think so. Is any Aaron Donald team going to give up 30 points a game? I don't think so. And that's where I'm sure Sean McVay's head is, my head, Rams, like that idea of this isn't just a guy you can get, it's that guy that you could get back.
Yeah, and there's also, how can there not be concern on, I don't know how good I feel about a team in the NFL. We're just going to outscore them. I don't think, and by the way, I think that might be the strategy in the beginning, and they will try to improve that defense as best as they can, but got to get stops. That's the one thing as potent as that offense has the potential of being, you also want a team that can create some turnovers, that can get some stops, that, you're in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes left to go, you can get a stop, get the ball back, give it to that's going to be critical.
I'll throw another one in there, too, on the defense, and this is nobody knows anything until we see it. You got Chris Schuler as your new DC. Raheem Morris is the head coach of the Falcons. Like, you had another head coach on your staff that was running the defense. Raheem Morris, by universal agreement, was really good at what he does. All the players loved him. The coaching staff loved him. The administrator, everybody loved Raheem Morris. He's gone. He's in Atlanta. Now you got a new guy. Now, he's been around a long time, but is he a head coach? Raheem Morris was. And you got this guy doing this job for the first time ever. That's something else that, look, maybe he's the second coming of Buddy Ryan or something. Who knows? He could be amazing or not. You know, we'll figure it out when he gets out there.
Yeah.
Let's just bring Aaron Donald back. Everything else falls into place. Hot and cold. Coming up next is Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Just because basketball isn't around, or at least the NBA, there's the WNBA slate, there's Major League Baseball, college football, the NFL right around the corner. All of these things available to you on Prize Picks. And here's how you play Prize Picks. More or less? Yes, it is that easy. You look at the stat projections on your favorite players. You like Shohei Ohtani. You like Freddie Freeman. More or less on hits, on runs, on homers. Take your pick. That's Prize Picks, and you can win up to 100 times your money.
You want a free pick for tonight's home run derby? How about Pete Alonso? You only got 4.5 hours left to go submit your pick. More or less than half a home run in round one. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and take Pete Alonso on that one, so you could easily win that. Dodger fans out there, Teoscar Hernandez. More or less than 21.5 home runs in the first round of tonight's home run derby. So you obviously got opportunities to play baseball, like Travis mentioned. Play women's basketball. Go take a look at Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, see what they're doing in their league as well. Download the Prize Pick app today. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Just as every
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa Show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shadano and Cappy start the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th.
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
cross the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
Crystal clear digital audio on the all-new ESPN LA app. Combo plates today in the afternoon at 5 o'clock after Cappy and Beto. The Home Run Derby, made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit Pechanga.com for more information. All-Star Friday night, Reaction Monday, continues right now on 710.
All right, it's time for hot and cold, and so I'm starting with hot. So for those of you who love a great little internet meme, and that just has a lot of legs. What has this meme been going on for like a couple years, at least 4 years.
I was going to say, it's got to be closing in on 3 or 4.
2020.
Yeah.
So, the Nick Castanos meme, where something happens in the world, something that is not something that everyone wants to bring up, something that's not great, but that Nick Castellanos just has an amazing day on the mound or hits a home run in the midst of that. It started with Tom Brenneman making an apology for an untoward things that he said, and in the middle of it he says, and then Nick
Castellanos. It's a deep drive to left by Castellanos.
Exactly. So we are aware of what happened on Saturday, and mere hours before that happened, Nick Castellanos hits a home run. Great, sure. Mere 40 minutes after that event took place, Castellanos has a 2-run double, 2 RBI double. He ended up with a 4 RBI day, which is an incredible day for Nick Castellanos. And I am living for a world in which Nick Castellanos is the angel of death coming towards all of us.
It is just bizarre how often he has been involved in. He hasn't even been involved. That's not even the right word. Like, he has done his job to a level that kind of cuts through in the middle of other breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Like that once, sure.
Non-baseball breaking news, typically.
Yes. Like, there was one where I think it was the play-by-play guy was reading this thing about how they were celebrating the remaining living members of the D-Day invasion that they had. And as they're talking about these guys, storming the beach at Normandy, Nick Castellanos hits a home run. Jesus. It's like, it's just this unbelievable. And he doesn't know what's going on, like, up in the booth. He can't hear it. And yet every time Castellanos comes to bat, you should be looking around for something crazy to happen.
Yeah.
It's so random.
And it's, again, like, do you address it as the announcer? Because I think that, in this case, they did not. And equate the 1-to-1.
Sure.
But, would you?
I would, if it were something
not like what happened on Saturday.
Right, like if it's breaking news that you're you have to report it as it's happening. This event is currently taking place in the world. There's a home run from Castellanos. Like, you have no choice in that point. But if you're doing something like, I don't know, a fundraiser for a local charity, I might wait for Nick Castellanos to come up to bat before I read that to just see if we can catch it again. I might. If it's something breaking, I think you just got to do it in the moment.
Yeah. All right, so what's cold now is comfort watches. Okay, so one of my favorite movies of all time is The Devil Wears Prada. I will watch on every flight. I will watch that and Lady Bird depending on the flight. They are two of my favorite movies that make me feel really good, and I love watching these movies. And I probably watch Devil Wears Prada once a month.
Really?
It's really that important and great to me. They announced that there will be a sequel to Devil Wears Prada, and I am a hard no.
Really?
I am a hard.
Is Meryl Streep in it?
Meryl Streep and
Anne Hathaway's
Emily
in it?
Blunt are all in it. Hard.
Why?
Don't ruin what is perfect.
You got really talented people involved in it.
It's not going to be good. It cannot be as good as the previous.
Oh, okay, hold on a second.
It doesn't have to be better than the first one. I don't think it has to be that.
It doesn't have to. But if it's good, it doesn't have to be as good. But if it's good, you don't want to revisit those characters.
It's going to taint what I've already gotten. I do not want to see for a second anything else in regards to the Devil Wears Prada universe. I want it to live in its perfection.
I go the other way.
Let me.
I go the other way.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I do lean with her on some things. Coming to America came out. I never saw the second one. I was just like, I just had no interest in seeing it.
It's not great.
Don't watch it.
It's not great. But Funch, do you think it sucked?
Yes, it did.
You thought so?
I think in the back of my mind,
it ruined their legacy.
In the back of my mind, I don't think it will ever ruin the original, right? Like, I get it that something came out X amount of years later, but in the back of my mind, there was a little bit like, I don't know if I want to see Coming to America.
One of my favorite movies of all, and I feel like I have to do this every time. I get that it's not, there's a lot of stuff in that movie that's not cool anymore, but I thought Caddyshack is a really fun, I loved it. One of the funny, right? Caddyshack 2 might be the worst movie that was ever made.
I like that movie.
Didn't Caddyshack 2?
Yeah, I like that movie.
We're done here for the day. I can't go on anymore. It didn't ruin Caddyshack for me. It's like, if it's bad, it's like, oh, that sucked, and you just throw it away.
We don't need it. We don't know who
Gladiator
wants it.
Gladiator. By the way, I saw the previews on Friday night, I think. Yeah, it looks rough.
But
Looks
it's a
rough.
completely new cast. It's a new world inside of the world
That's
of
fair.
Gladiator.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is exactly. Miranda Priestley is going to be back. Andy's going to be back. I don't need to see, because it's not going to live up to what the idea I had of their characters post that. You know how I'm trying to explain myself.
I know what you mean.
It's
your idea of what happens next is better than what they're going to give you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it can never live up to all of our individual thoughts of what's going to happen next. I think that Hollywood is ruining our comfort watches. Let our comfort watches be our comfort watches. We don't need to cash and squeeze every little last drop out of something that was perfect.
Do you have one that you go back to over and over again? Movie, TV show that it's just familiar and comfortable and easy, and when you want to check out or just feel safe, you turn
Goes
it on.
down easy.
Yeah.
The Office.
That's, I think, on a lot of people's list.
Is there a movie that you think about?
I got one for me, and it's because it's when I was 10 or 8 or whatever I was when it come out. Star Wars. If the original Star Wars is on, it's just one of those. Oh, yeah, I can watch this.
For me, it's less a specific movie, but a lot of the stupid Will Ferrell movies.
Like
I
Step
find
Brothers
myself,
and
like, all
Talladega
that
Nights,
old
yeah, yeah.
school, like all that. I'm like, I don't know. It's still hilarious to me.
Funchess, why did you like Caddyshack 2?
Ooh, Dan Aykroyd was really funny in it.
Have you ever seen the original Caddyshack?
I did, and Bill Murray plays his character, whatever. I don't know, whatever.
No. Dan Aykroyd plays Bill Murray's character. Let's not get it twisted.
My favorite movie.
Pain Don't Hurt.
You know that movie?
I don't.
Pain Don't Hurt.
Pain Don't Hurt.
Roadhouse.
Oh!
And it had a reboot. And what did you think?
Dalton something or other, right? It's Dalton. What's the guy's Patrick
Dalton.
Swayze's character's name? Dalton something.
Dalton something. I don't know what it is.
You know
Dalton.
that Dalton Connect is named Dalton because of that Dalton?
Get out of here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
His parents were
Yeah.
huge fans of the movie, and Dalton Connect is named Dalton because of Patrick Swayze named Dalton in Roadhouse.
You know another great comfort movie a lot of people will watch is The Shawshank Redemption. We don't
Yes.
need The Shawshank Redemption 2.
Can there be a part 2?
Should get live from Zihuatanejo.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Or it could be revisiting that same prison and having different people and stuff.
But okay, I understand your point. What I don't understand is if it's bad, just let it go.
Because they're ruining something that cares a lot to me.
But it doesn't ruin it. You still love the first one. You still got to experience that. You still
Makes
got
it
to
less valuable.
Why?
Because if
Emily
you just
wants
stop
to go
it,
to a great restaurant and have a
Then
great
burn
meal.
it to the ground.
Are you still going to watch the
It can only
movie,
get
though?
worse.
Are you still going to watch the movie?
I'm sure I will.
With all that said,
That's what I'm
she's
saying.
like,
All
I'm
that
in.
said, exactly.
I'll buy that ticket.
Because if I didn't watch it, then, I would never know what happens.
Well, that's the idea,
And then I'll
right?
stew.
Who's hot, who's cold? It's brought to you by NextGen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXTGen. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. Or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. It's so funny to me that you are so fired up about that. Like, I know that movies and TV and stuff, that's your passion. I get that. But if I had a great experience, yeah, I'll run it back. And it's like Coming to America 2, not good. It was not good, but I didn't think it was terrible. It was just kind of boring. I felt like I'd seen it already. It was the same kind of thing. Axel F. Did you see Axel F?
I did see it. I did see it. I liked it.
Did you like that? I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was basically Beverly Hills Cop with his kid.
Too many callbacks to the original,
Nothing.
too.
The whole first 15
even
minutes
with
of the
Surge.
movie.
Even with Surge.
Surge and Taggart and Rosewood and just it's like, yeah, okay. Like, I get, and I love Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy being Axel Foley, he's really good at being Axel Foley, but okay, does the white guy voice, okay, does this.
The white guy voice is really good.
The white guy voice is funny, but I've heard him do it so many times. You know what I mean?
I can't get enough.
You know what's also what's coming out this weekend is Twisters. A lot of people really like the original Twister, and like it's
was
a
good.
comfort
Original
watch
was
of
good.
Twister, but Twisters is in a separate universe, recasted, different
completely.
story. Like something is totally
So
different.
you like it better when the original people aren't involved?
Like if it was Devil Wears Prada, but with a different cast, maybe. But the thing is,
With Sydney Sweeney.
So a reboot, basically.
But the book, Devil Wears
Jennifer
Prada,
Connelly and Sydney Sweeney and Devil Wears Prada 2.
would never work, and that would suck. That's a terrible cast.
Says you.
But the Devil Wears Prada is based off a book, and the book's done. Like, don't expand. Like, Game of Thrones got bad when it stopped using George R.R. Martin's text.
Can I ask a question? Why does he get 2 R's?
2 middle names. You don't know people. People have two middle names.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So it's probably, I don't know what his middle names are.
Robert Ray. Yeah, but he's not Robert Redford, R.R. Redford.
But why House of the Dragon is a good re-entrance into that world is because it's based off his text. Because the reason why these things are good is because of his text. If the Devil Wears Prada book isn't great, but it's based... Anyway, I'm done.
Let's go watch it together. Come on, we'll have a good time.
Honestly,
Let's go do it.
I love that movie. I could do Devil Wears Prada trivia any day.
Interesting.
Well, actually,
that sparks a thought.
I
sparks a thought.
I do Game of Games on Wednesday.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do it on Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, are you producing on Wednesday?
I'm producing
Double
with
dip?
you guys and Mason Allen on Wednesday because it is the slowest sports day of the year, and so why not
Wednesday,
work 6 hours?
Not when we're talking about Shohei Ohtani having won the MVP of the All-Star game, or Teo, or anybody else. The Dump. It's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I know going to the dentist with your...
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
Starting Monday, September 9th, there's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it means the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block begins an hour earlier. Even more live and local LA sports talk on 710 ESPN. The Travis and Sliwa Show will start at 9 a.m. Mason and Ireland move back to noon to 3, and Shadano and Cappy start the LA Afternoon Drive Takeover at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., we are the destination for LA sports. It's a new fall lineup on 710 ESPN, and it begins Monday, September 9th. Arlington, Texas. Don't miss all the coverage of the Midsummer Classic on 710 ESPN. And, of course, you can hear it on the all-new ESPN LA app. Made possible by Pechanga Resort Casino. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino. Visit Pechanga.com for more information.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, so I want to start with a story from Major League Baseball All-Star Game, or the All-Star Week and the festivities. Have you ever gone to one of those like where the players are, where they're all set up their little podiums and things like that? Have you ever done one of those? NBA are kind of similar too.
Yeah, I've done it for the NBA.
Okay.
And you're right. It's literally everybody's got a little bit of a booth, and you go up and down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a quick story before we get to the Juan Soto thing. We were in Seattle one year covering the All-Star game, and I'm getting ready to go in, and the American League players are getting ready to come in. So I'm walking in, and I see this guy in line in front of me, and talking about the credential situation we were talking about with Nick Saban earlier.
Yeah.
There's this guy who's struggling a little bit with English and trying to explain, I need to be in there. And the security guy's like, you don't have, he's kind of pantomime, you don't have the credential, I can't let you in, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. And the guy's struggling like, no, I need to be in there is what he's getting. And I look at this guy and I do a double take. It's Maglio Ordonez, who was a member of the American League All-Star team and had been like an All-Star like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, I may be able to help here. He's on the team. He's an outfielder for, I think he was on the Tigers at the time. I said, he's an all-star. He needs to be in there because he's one of the people we're all, the guy goes, oh, okay. And he let him right in. It was terrific. So, same idea. Juan Soto was asked at one of these little podium events who he would like to play with. This is interesting.
Steph and LeBron finally get to play together. Who is one MLB player you'd love to play with that you haven't had the chance to on the same team?
I mean, Ohtani would have been one of the best. Now he went to the NL, I went to the AL, so it's been a little tricky, but definitely Ohtani would be one of them.
So they keep missing each other. Ohtani was an AL player while Soto was an NL player, and then they flip-flopped. The same year they went to the other side. They never got a chance to be on the All-Star team at the same time.
I'm sure Dodger fans have a solution of how they could maybe avoid that cross-reference there.
I mean,
might as well just dump another 500.
They don't, right?
Mil.
They don't,
when
right?
Is Juan Soto?
The end of this year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
this is it for him.
At the end, now the Yankees, I think, will break the bank to keep him because I don't know. Juan Soto feel like he came out of the womb as a Yankee. Like he's just one. He feels very Yankee-ish.
Yeah, don't disrespect his national heritage.
There is a feel that he just has wearing a Yankee jersey. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And listen,
still get beat by the Rockies.
I'm gonna try to do this right. I'm not saying that Juan Soto's not worth $500 million plus, because that's probably what he's going to get. We'll see what happens. I know he turned down his $400 and change with the Nationals years ago, but I'm going to go back to Dodgers making smart decisions. Do they want to put all that to Juan Soto? Do they kind of like the structure that they've took? Mookie's a guy that you spent a lot of money on. Freddie Freeman was only 6 years, and you spent under 150 or whatever it was.
And they're almost done with his. I think this is year 4, three or four.
Something like that.
They're getting towards the end.
You think they would make a run at him? They just spent on Ohtani.
No.
They just spent on Yamamoto.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Why is my voice getting?
That's they did something this offseason that everybody knew they'd go nuts to get Ohtani. Right, that there was really no number that they wouldn't go to get Ohtani, and they did, $700 million. But then they doubled down with Yamamoto. They went really big on Glasnow, who had an injury history and was a 5-year. That's a long-term deal for a pitcher. They went in a direction that they typically don't. So I don't think that Juan Soto's coming to the Dodgers anytime soon. By the way, the reason that Aaron Judge might hit 60 home runs again this year is because of Juan Soto. That he is so valuable to what the Yankees. Juan Soto's a great player in his own right. Juan Soto's on base all the time. Mm-hmm. So you have to pitch to Judge. And Judge is just cleaning up right now. He's having a monstrous season along the way. A couple of birthdays, not just celebrity birthdays, but local birthdays, personal birthdays. Both John Ireland and producer Laura Romo are celebrating birthdays today. Double birthday here in the house. So where are the cakes? Where are the
hell is
where are the festivities? What are we doing here?
Well, I think John is absent. So
we should still have a cake in his honor.
Celebration. I mean, Mason was absent. John drafted for him.
He didn't. Yeah. How long do you think it took Mason? We'll have to ask him when he comes in here in a few minutes. Oh, you did already?
Yeah, I did. Okay, when we did, I think what you were going to ask, how long did it take for Mason to text John?
Right.
So by the time the game ended, Chris asked Mason and I to come up where they were broadcasting from to talk about the game.
Right. Is that when you invited everybody to my house?
Yeah, because Susan, I was just asking if Susan was going to be okay with it.
Okay,
And it
yeah.
sounded like from your green light,
Sure.
it was okay. Mace, by the time I got up there, had already texted John because I asked him.
Had he responded yet?
I don't know if he responded. I don't know if he responded.
Yeah, look, you guys cleaned our clock, but it was lopsided, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible.
There was a bad inning.
Had you not had Dental Fun Zone guy, it would have been a little bit. I still think you win.
Yeah.
But that guy was.
Okay,
Because there's Beto and Jorge still getting home runs.
Here's the only problem with that analysis there of taking out Dante from our team. I did the math. Armando pretty good too.
Armando's very good.
He had 2 homers.
Yeah.
He had 4 of your guys' 5 RBIs.
He hit one over the faux Dodger Stadium. Like, for those of you that didn't see it on YouTube or were out at All-Star Friday night, we play on a softball field it's a faux Dodger Stadium. There's a blue wall with the pavilion roof and the 76 scoreboard and all that thing. They have all the numbers up from when Kirk Gibson hit the home run off to Dennis Eckersley, the whole thing. He hit it over that.
Yeah.
Like, our fence is about 200 feet. That fence is 320 something.
Yeah.
Over.
I questioned my pitching career after that.
Let's see here. Wedding Crashers, one of your movies, Slee, was released in 2005 today. Wedding Crashers, I think, is very, very funny. It's got some very memorable lines and very memorable scenes. Wedding Crashers is a perfect example of my theory of nothing should ever be longer than about
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's okay.
The last 25 minutes of that movie, you could just lose it.
I agree with
and
you.
it would be a much better movie.
And give that movie the credit because the first hour, you're like, this is freaking
really funny.
hilarious. They can't miss anything. And after that, it kind of starts slowing down.
Emily?
I am so incensed by this every time this topic comes up. So today, in 1988, was when Die Hard was released. Great, fantastic movie.
Yippee-ki-yay, Em.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, you know who. But it was released on July 15th in 1988. It is not a Christmas movie.
Oh, no, that makes sense. They're setting it up for Christmas. People are going to watch it.
Get you in the spirit.
Get in the
You cannot
spirit.
be a Christmas movie coming out in July. That is like absolutely impossible. No thank you. You're not a Christmas movie. You might have Christmas elements. It might take place at Christmas time. So let me, for example, this weekend
it's a Christmas movie. 100% it's a Christmas movie.
This weekend I saw a movie called Longlegs, which I mentioned earlier. That movie takes place from December to January in a year. I can't remember the year. That movie has Christmas trees. It has lights. That is not a Christmas movie. It is a horror movie, and it takes place in July. It's not a Christmas movie. So Die Hard, because this is the number one reason it's not a Christmas movie, is because it's released in July. Not a Christmas
That's a good reason it's not a Christmas movie. I would argue with you that it's not the reason it's not a Christmas movie. We're on the same page. We agree. The reason it's not a Christmas movie to me, Slee, it's not Christmas. To be a Christmas movie, there has to be elements of Christmas.
Plot reasons for
Yes,
Christmas.
yes. There has to be the spirit of the season, losing faith and rediscovering your faith.
Not just the setting.
I'm
right.
sorry, but
it's not
isn't
just
he
that
at
it's cold
isn't
outside.
he at a Christmas party though?
But it has nothing
He's at a
to do
Christmas
with
party.
it.
I'm with you.
He's at a Christmas party.
Okay. Be other
And
than
I see
that.
Christmas lights in there.
I see Christmas lights too, and he's
Thank
wearing
you.
at one
And
point.
when he's shooting people up, I see Christmas lights.
Yeah.
So if we have a movie that is set on the 4th of July that has nothing to do with the 4th of July, it's a 4th of July movie?
But if I see one firework or one American flag, it's a
We're
4th of
talking
July
fireworks
movie.
here. We're talking fireworks.
So one of their movies of all time is Lady Bird. Lady Bird, they have a Christmas scene where they open gifts. Is that a Christmas movie?
Christmas movie.
Never saw it. I don't know.
Christmas
it's not a
element.
Christmas
It's an
movie.
element. It's an element of Christmas.
There needs to be a plot reason.
You know why you don't want to line up with him? Never seen The Godfather and thought Caddyshack 2 was good. You might want to reconsider.
There has to be a plot reason for it to be at Christmas.
I'm with you.
If Die Hard took place at the end of the year company picnic,
Right.
it's not a Christmas movie.
And it's the same movie.
Exactly.
It's
Great Christmas
exactly
movie.
the same
One of my
movie.
favorite Christmas movies. Mason and I have talked a lot about this. He loves Die Hard, and he thinks it's a Christmas movie.
We watch it every year on Christmas Eve. It's a beautiful experience.
It's a Wonderful Life and Die Hard?
It is. It's the modern day.
We don't have Christmas dinner without first watching Die Hard, then going to church, and then having Christmas
I'd say
dinner.
Love Actually and Die Hard
Love
for
Actually is
Christmas
pretty
every
great.
single year.
Stranger Things premiered on this day in 2016, July 15th, 2016. And Emily, you did not knock out the entire season in one sitting.
Okay, so here's the story behind it. I was eavesdropping eavesdropping, and this was before there had been a lot of marketing for Stranger Things. I was eavesdropping. This guy was talking to his friend. He's like, "You gotta see Stranger Things. It's really good." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a good movie good show I would like." I start watching it at 8 p.m. I do not stop watching it. I stay up until 4 a.m. finishing the first season of Stranger Things. And it was in the middle of summer. It was like I was in between college. I didn't have a job at that point in time. My job had finished, and so I had all the time in the world to do whatever I wanted. I stayed up until 4 a.m. to finish the first season of Stranger Things.
Have you ever binged 8 hours of television in a row?
No. Maybe.
I'm not saying watch TV for 8 hours.
Is insane, but I've probably done 5 hours when I was catching up on Game of Thrones years ago.
Breaking Bad for me, I definitely had some moments where I'm probably 4 or 5 episodes in a row.
Just glued to the couch.
Glued.
I did that on Sunday.
Glued.
With Game of Thrones. I'm rewatching Game of Thrones. I did that on Sunday.
By the way, not that much different than somebody watching the 10 a.m. football game.
It's not.
It's
not at all. It's exactly the same. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I go on to, you know what I've been watching a lot of? I think I watched 2 of them yesterday, and I've got the finale. No, not Summer League. Was Your Honor, which is now on Netflix, which I'd never seen.
Okay, so here's
which I should have.
Mace.
If Brian's listening, I'm sorry.
It's really good.
Susan and I started it last weekend.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so intense.
It is so intense.
It's and I mean this as a compliment. It's not going to sound. It's a hard watch.
Yeah.
Because it's. Have you seen it, Al?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so intense and painful, and you're just
intense.
You can feel it getting deeper and more tangled, and all of these things. It's just. It's not fun to watch it because you're just white knuckling it.
Well,
the
it's
entire
funny.
time.
I was watching it yesterday, and again, I've got the finale for season 1 still to watch. I'm excited.
So it's on
for
Netflix
that.
now, right?
It is on Netflix, so a lot of people are picking the show up. But I think it's weirdly a little like Breaking Bad in that here's this guy who slowly becomes ensnared in his. I mean, he has
Poor
broken
family
bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's, again, he's all doing this to quote unquote protect his family. But I think in Your Honor, the protecting your family is much more evident than I think the evolution of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You lose the plot a bit with his defending his family. In Your Honor, it's very much present throughout the entirety. At least I saw the first season.
Yeah.
I can't wait to finish it, but it's going to take me a long time because unlike we were talking about 8 hours in a row, I get half hour because they're hour-long episodes.
Right.
And I get about halfway and I'm like,
You gotta be kidding. You only watch a half hour of an hour show?
I don't have much.
Man.
I don't have a ton of brain wavelength for TV.
Clearly.
No.
Damn.
20 minutes.
Oh, by the way.
Half an hour.
Don't even. He would never survive in House of the Dragon. Would he, Emily?
And last night's episode was a long boy.
It was a long one, and it was very exposition.
It was very dry.
Yeah, it was a dry one. It was clearly it's setting up something big.
I read the book, and I read the book so I can get the spoilers for House of the Dragon. Next episode's gonna be good.
Good.
Raider Rubin, not 100%. 1,000% Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
And Raider Rubin is completely 1,000% wrong.
Right.
Dumb for some
I don't even know really why
Period.
we're even
End of
talking about it
story.
anymore.
Full stop. Let that sink in. Raider Rubin's
He's gonna
right.
be muted on me again, because he had that beef with your show.
Now we are gonna shadow ban him, man.
Yeah,
now we're gonna
shadow
do it
ban.
for real. Let's do a little super crosstalk, Funch. Bonk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk. Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So, Mace, you and I have been teammates all 3 years at All-Star
Yes,
Friday
we
night.
have.
We are now sub 500.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. How do we bounce back? What needs to change for Team Mace moving forward?
I'm going to be honest. I need to be the general manager.
Okay.
I need to be the general manager.
You were general manager last year.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good
Last
point.
year was
Now your history.
But this year,
on-
literally, I looked at the lineup and thought, "Oh my God, they got all the boppers
But last
in
year
there."
was more lopsided. This year was a lot closer.
Look at their lineup. Beto had a home run. Mari had a home run. Bergman went 0 for 4. Jorge had a home run. Brian
BC
had a
had
home
one.
run.
Yeah.
The
then
dental
Dante.
fun zone guy, I think, had 3.
Oh my God! There's
Two?
one ball the dental fun zone guy hit that's still gone.
We did get Armando, though. Armando hit 2.
Armando hit 2. He was great.
Armando hit 2. It wasn't as lopsided as it could have been.
What was it?
We were
13 to.
No,
11-5.
11-5. Oh, that's all right.
That's
I
what
can
I mean.
live
That's
with
not.
that.
That's not the end of the
Total
world.
embarrassment.
So you want to take
The Dodgers
control of
could
your
have blown
organization.
that lead.
Yeah, well, when you've got Honeywell, Yarborough, Peterson, Banda, and Ramirez
When
holding
those
it down,
guys are out there,
that's who
look
that's
out.
who they pitched yesterday.
I know.
Those 5 guys were the
I
guys
know.
that pitched.
That's what we're down to.
How long did you stay at the Sunset Room?
Tell you, I hung out for a while.
Okay.
In fact, at one point, I did not have my wallet with me. So I had to go to Bergman and say, Bergman, buy me a drink. I want a shot. And I ended up with a double shot of tequila at some point on Friday night and started feeling, I was rolling. I was in an Uber, so that meant I had a double
could
shot
lean
of
into it a little
tequila,
bit.
I had a little vape action. There might have been a gummy involved. I mean, I was just like loaded.
Go for you.
All double tequila shot, vape, and a gummy.
Yes. All
How
of the above.
How was the ride home?
You know, it was
Did you fall
actually,
asleep?
No, it was totally
No?
fine. I opened up my computer and I was looking at stuff. I was like, yeah, no, I was totally fine.
He sat in the front seat.
He sat in the front
Playing
seat.
with
Yeah.
the radio.
I always sit in the front seat
Yeah.
of an Uber.
Do you set it for quiet no conversation or quiet conversation?
Okay, comfort.
I get what I get.
You're talking about the comfort
The
one?
comfort one, yeah. Cool and no conversation.
Is that what you check off the boxes?
I fall into that.
Because I'm
I fall
cool
into
and
that
I don't want
category.
to talk to that guy. No.
Do you ever sit in the front?
No, never. Unless there's like a big group of people.
No, just you and the driver.
No, never. Never. Wait a minute. Have you?
Every time.
You sit.
Unbelievable.
You sit in the front seat of an Uber?
Very few Ubers have a comfortable back seat for me, so I sit in the front. I ask. I open the front door. And
That is so weird.
The Uber pulls up to my house, and I walk out, and I kind of open the front door, and I say, hey, do you mind if I sit in the front? I'm a little uncomfortable in the back. Not only one person has ever said I'd much prefer
Here's
you
what
sit
I
in the
would
back.
say. Here's what I would say. I'd say, oh, okay, no problem. Let me move the seat up in the front so then you could sit in the back and have more leg space.
I don't want to sit in the back. It's not. It's the
It's
seats.
not your car.
I know. Well, I'm paying for it for that 20 minutes that I'm in it. It kind of is.
He's just turning his signal on when
Yeah.
he's going.
Oh,
left
yeah.
and
Are
right.
you helping?
Shift. Is that weird?
Yeah, it is very weird.
Why?
Because that's just not the way it's done. It's
Says
sort
who?
of like pseudo limo, right? It's like a pseudo limo, and you're right in the back, and the guy does the driving, and but you don't
But
ride.
I don't fit back. You
shotgun
show up in that
an
Prius.
Uber, riding shotgun in
Yeah,
an Uber.
the Prius. I'm sitting in there back there like this. Even if the seat's up, there's no room for me.
I want to ask a question.
It's like a Curb episode.
So should I be concerned about this? Yesterday, I woke up and I went to the gym.
Summer of Shred.
Summer Shred is on. So as I'm walking out, I see there's a note taped to the door.
Of your front door?
Of my front door. And it said, "Hi, just wanted to let you know I'm a big fan."
Uh-oh. Were the letters cut out of a magazine?
No, they were not cut out of a magazine. It wasn't. I think it was generally in good. But should I be concerned?
That's all it said?
Yes.
No,
I just wanted to let you know that I'm a big fan.
I wouldn't love that.
I was concerned.
If it said,
if it would have said Tom Johnson from down the street, I'd be okay.
If it was, hey Mace, I'm a neighbor. I just wanted to tell you I'm a big fan of the show.
Yeah.
Don Johnson or whatever the good name you just used. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that would be okay. But this one is just a little bit too cryptic for me. Like,
yeah, it's a little weird.
Just wanted to let you
lipstick
know.
kiss on the
Yeah, there was no lipstick kiss. No, it wasn't that bad. But it does kind of.
If you have that same sticky note sitting in front of your front door, it's a little concerning.
Yeah, it is.
there.
It is.
That'd be
It's a little concerning.
What did Juan think about it?
Juan, if he's listening, could be hearing about it for the first time. Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to spook. I didn't want to spook Juan.
Yeah, well, shouldn't he know though? Like if there's something that makes you uncomfortable and it's in the home.
Well, Juan's a P1. He's hearing it now. Now he knows. Now, by the way, Sunset
Juan,
Room.
how do you feel about 877?
Yeah, Sunset Room. Those were the most hardcore listeners.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, those guys and women know everything about the station. They hang on every event that we do. I mean, I just had a great experience at the Sunset Room. Did you?
I did. My stay was relatively brief, but in the time that I was there, I had a really good time.
Yeah.
I got to spend a little time with the COT with John Ferris again.
Wonderful man.
He's the best. Greg bought me a drink, too. I didn't know Greg was kind of funding the night for all of us, apparently.
Greg was picking up the tab.
Yeah.
How about that, Boss Bergman?
So
no, but he's going to give you, you didn't have your wallet. He's going to end up giving you the bill.
You can invoice him.
Included everybody.
Hey, Venmo me that money for the double shot.
That included everybody.
All right, you have the first pick in the draft, 2025, All-Star Friday night. Who are you taking?
Well, if I was just pleasing the people in this room.
No. Take who you want.
Take Beto.
Yeah, it's
Beto. Sure.
Beto's
Yeah.
number
Okay.
Beto is softball. Beto
Offense,
is softball.
defense.
Defense hits the. I mean, that one ball he hit completely out of the hole.
Oh, he smoked it. He smoked. Here's what
he hit a line drive.
This is not, and I told you so. This is This is what. If you and I are teammates again, Mace, we got to think about this. I would like to be your Brandon Gomes to your Andrew Friedman. I would like to offer you a little suggestion. You know what they did? Beto caught the fly balls that were hit to him.
Yeah.
Dental Fun Zone, was it Dante you said?
Yeah.
Dante caught the fly balls that were hit to him. Mario picked up ground balls at shortstop.
Brian
Cohen is the second coming of Matt Chapman, apparently, with platinum gloves.
Nolan
Arenado over there.
He had a backhand play that was unbelievable.
It was
Let me
incredible.
throw a player at you guys, too, that we haven't mentioned. Pepe is like, you better mention him. JB at first.
Yeah.
Was
very
really
solid.
good at
very
first.
solid.
He's fine. He caught the ball.
Yeah.
That's not a high bar to clear.
No, there were a couple throws.
I bounced a couple to him. He saved me
was
every
picking
time.
them.
By the way, I
JB
thought
was
the
solid.
play of the night was our guy, Manny Pavetta, who had the greatest stretch.
It's awesome.
To catch a runner at first base. He was playing first base.
I think you were the runner, weren't you?
And
it
a
was my
super long stretch.
I looked to my left. I'm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, it was impressive. That was you were playing first base, and Manny was playing for you.
So one inning, I said to Manny, I said, you want to play first? He's like, sure, I'll do it. I couldn't have picked a better inning.
Yeah.
I made myself the MVP by skipping that inning perfectly. I got out of there in one piece.
Manny was great.
So I think the runs will come if we make the outs. We need to make sure that our defense is slightly better.
I'm trying to think. Mitchell dropped the ball.
One ball.
Cappy made a couple errors at short.
Cappy made a couple errors.
There were a couple of balls in the outfield that probably could have been caught that weren't.
Can I be honest? The first base umpire was
He hooked us
awful.
a couple times.
He hooked
his
us
name was
twice.
Corey.
And Corey, by the way, hooked us twice, screwed us twice, and then both times home runs followed.
Oh, well, the baseball gods don't like bad calls.
So in other words, they hit home runs with runners on.
They did.
Because the umpire, Corey, screwed it up.
There was a moment in the game that also hurt you guys.
Yeah, what was
base running error.
Oh, don't pick on Kai.
I'm not picking on him. But
You're
it was a bad
picking.
play.
Why are you going after Kai?
Because we are talking about certain moments of the game that were important.
But I mean, highlighting Kai seems
I don't think,
unfair.
I think if Kai was sitting here, he'd say the same thing. I made an error. I should not have tried to go to third.
He got very upset about it too.
Did he really?
Got very upset about it. He's like, I should have.
That was a well-executed pickle.
By the way,
where was I? How did I miss a pickle? I don't even remember this happening.
The rundown was pretty good.
No, it was Kai. It was Kai.
Yep.
Kai tried to go too far.
Where was I? I don't even remember this happening.
Kai tried to stretch to third base. They got him.
Yeah, Kai was rounding second, tried going to third, and then all of a sudden, like we've been playing softball our entire life, it was like a real pickle.
Right? No, there was an actual rundown. You
Mario
didn't see the
is
rundown?
like
must have been.
BC is covering.
That was nice.
I must have been looking in my cooler at the moment that it happened.
Did Funches ever touch the ball on that? I think Funches came to back
Berg
up.
was in it.
Speaking of Funches and Emily, we're going to put these two things together here. So here's another draft strategy that you need to be aware of.
Okay.
We've done these 3 times.
Yes.
You're 1-2. I'm 1-2. Sleeve's 2-1. Greg's 2-1. Brian, you're 2-0.
Like wins?
Yes.
1-1. I was on base
okay,
last
1-1.
year.
Emily Hebel, producer of the year, Emily Hebel.
Yep.
0-3. She might be the cooler. Conversely,
Ready for this one?
Michael Funches, 3-0.
You want to win? You go get Michael Funches.
Funch is the man.
Funch is the good luck charm. M is the cooler.
I'm not offended if next year I'm the last one off the list. I'm not offended.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy.
I'm just saying, little bit better up the middle.
Yeah.
We're going to score runs. I'm not worried about that. And maybe, Emily, don't listen. Maybe just avoid old
my
Emily.
favorite thing about the game.
What do you got?
Bergman 0 for 4.
It was terrific.
Okay,
It was
first off,
so
no,
good.
It was
wait.
terrific.
so
First
good.
off,
It was so good.
First off, Bergman was 0 for 3.
He told me 0 for 4.
No, he was 0 for 3. And
Hey, mama.
and questions. How many RBIs did you have?
In the game?
Yeah,
None.
I had 0. How many did you have?
I scored a run and flied out to center.
Okay,
So 1 for 2.
you had an RBI.
What?
Give the man his RBI.
Who cares? He was
Yeah,
0 for.
he was 0
He was
for.
bragging
He was
about
0
his
for.
batting average, not about his slug and his production.
Yeah, by the way, no,
If he did it-
he scored. They scored on a fielder's choice. It's like
No.
A dribbler to second base does
Counts
not
in
count.
the stats.
Yeah.
6 for 11 with an RBI.
Hey,
Is that
Momo.
what you're trying to do? Hit it to the
Trying to
right
help him
side
out
to get the run home?
Trying to help him out.
I don't know. I think I
couldn't hit worth
I think I just figured out how to pitch to him.
Oh, let me tell you something.
You were
You
like
cracked the code. You found his cold
She
zone.
was the best fielder I've ever seen sit at.
Momo was a vacuum cleaner
Yeah, she
out
was.
there.
You
She
had
got
more action than
everything
anyone.
that
I know.
was actually
Yeah.
close to
I almost
her.
let one of them go just so somebody else could get a
Skill
ball.
of
As
No,
long as it's
thanks.
not coming to the right side.
No,
you
thanks.
Take
At
them
least
all.
they're not
There
coming.
was one I just totally missed, and then the second baseman got it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I was-
thanks, man.
I turned to somebody at one point and I said, "Boy, Momo still got game, doesn't
Yeah.
she?
She
You
got
still got
everything.
game."
I'm quick.
You told me you pulled your hamstring earlier in the year. That
Yeah,
you were
tore it.
Kid,
and
yeah.
you're like, I got to be a little careful. And then next
Yeah.
thing I know, you're like pouncing on balls in front of the plate
But
like a
that's
cat.
not the movement that gets you. It's the acceleration in the outfield.
Okay.
That's where I was scared.
Right.
Because it's like anything above a light jog
Yeah.
is scary. That's when you feel the grab and you're like, nope.
I was
Do you
just
feel-
happy-
Stop right then.
I was just happy we had 0 hot shots back at us.
Totally.
Well, the first inning, I could tell you couldn't see.
What's that?
You couldn't see in the first
no,
inning.
And I was,
No, you
God
can't see at
bless
all.
Yeah.
Funches, but I was telling Funches, I'm like, hey, roll the ball to me. And every
Me too,
time
yeah.
he's just
Emily
going like
rolled it
this,
to
I'm
me.
like, I can't see the ball.
He likes
M
Caddyshack too.
threw
What
it
do you want
once
to do
and I
with
was
that
like,
guy?
nope.
Who likes
No.
Caddyshack too?
Funches.
Funches.
Yeah.
The
Funches.
hell?
I've never had less
It's one
respect
of the
for him.
all-time worst sequels. Period.
It may be one of the worst movies ever made.
And he hates Godfather too.
Yeah.
Oh, and he
Godfather
hates-
as well.
Right.
Loves Caddyshack
Right,
too.
as well, right.
Hates Godfather. All right. I'm going to trust.
How'd you
his
feel the next
movie
day? How's the
advice.
arm?
Fine.
You all right?
I think I was fine, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do
You
anything
threw a lot
hard.
of pitches.
I mean, it's not like an overhand
Dave
pitch or
Roberts
anything.
would have taken you out.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I wasn't
I
walking
got
on
better.
Saturday
By like
well.
the 5th inning, I was like, oh, I finally got my form down. I was like,
Well, you went
before.
through, you started going through where it's like she had some high ones.
Yeah.
She had some
I
low.
was
Like
mixing
she
it up.
started now strategizing.
I was spotting the
whole
ball.
thing.
Well, because I'm hitting all these guys who can hit out of the park, and I'm like,
There are a
there's
lot
no
of
way to
guys.
pitch them. I'm just trying to
A
throw
lot
it
of,
inside.
lot of slug on Team Sliwa
Boy,
this
a
season.
lot of
First
slug.
pitch, I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it inside so they can't extend their arms. Boom, out of the park.
I threw
Boom,
one.
out of the park.
I threw one pitch. I'm not kidding. To Armando.
Yeah.
That was such a bet. If he let it go,
Yeah.
like Funches is gonna
Yeah.
be back there. It's gonna get him here.
Yeah.
He hits it. I don't know how the hell he hit it. He just comes
Tomahawked
like
it.
this and hits the freaking thing.
Yeah, that's how I
400
felt
feet.
all
Armando
game.
was good.
He was good.
Draft
He was
Armando
good.
again.
Armando again.
Up the middle, Mace. We build our team up the middle.
Okay, that's
right?
what we're going to do.
We're going to build our team up the
I
middle.
think I can feel my position.
No, you're fine. You're not one of the
Momo,
pieces
you
that we're
are.
moving.
I'll feel the position.
You
Yeah.
stay right where you
My
are.
biggest issue is trying to throw it to you at first and have to wait for you to get to first.
You don't have to say
I
it
was
like that.
Throwing, and I was like, oh my god, hold up, he's not there yet.
He was loping to first.
I was getting in position is how I like to call it.
is that the way you say it?
I like
Yeah,
to
getting
make
into
setting
position.
my feet,
Yes.
making sure that I'm in the right
Trav,
spot.
as you're running to
Yeah.
first, you're putting your finger up for a motor.
She
like,
turns
wait.
around, she looks at me, she's cocked and ready to
I'm
go.
like,
I'm like,
"Oh,
hey,
no."
let me get over there. I don't
I
want
know,
to.
and then I messed up. Brian hit it to me, and I'm like fielding it barehanded, thinking because it was a squibber, and I'm like, Brian's gonna leg this out. I gotta hurry, and like
I'm
I
gonna leg it
totally
out, right?
off the throat because he was
Brian's going to leg it out.
Brian's
Exactly.
gonna. Why? What was I thinking?
We'll have a pre-draft powwow.
Oh, yeah, we absolutely will.
All right.
Yeah.
Super Cross Talks brought to
because I'm just gonna grab you first.
Yeah.
brought to you by In-N-Out. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all